Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's guide on how to watch the Champions Cup final live, Leinster versus La Rochelle at the Aviva Stadium. It should be an absolutely epic encounter. The question is, did Leinster and La Rochelle gamble last weekend to play weekend teams? La Rochelle playing in a league game, so far less consequences. But for Leinster, they crashed out of the URC because they are so focused on this game. Now, is it worth the gamble? We're going to find out. We will be live for the game as well, so do come and join us. But in terms of watching all the action, you can watch it on several different free-to-air broadcasters, which means it's easier than ever to watch the action with a VPN if you're outside these territories. Before we tell you exactly how to do it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so it is being shown on RTE, it's being shown on ITV, and it's being shown on France TV, which means you've got three different options. You have to be in either the UK or France to access them. If you're outside the UK or France, you will still be able to access them, but with a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, which looks something like that. Link in the description. Basically, what it'll do is it'll geolocate your device to make it seem as if you are in a different country. In this case, we can put ourselves in the UK. And as a result, you're then going to be able to watch ITV for free. And all you have to do is register. You don't have to do any credit card details, whatever. Connect to a UK server, and you can watch. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to those three little dots on the right-hand side. You're going to it'll open up all the various locations. You're going to go to the UK. Now, we're currently not connected, which means that when you go to ITV, it says this. Due to our broadcast content license, you can only watch ITV in the UK. Cool. So we're then going to go back to our VPN, and we're going to turn it on. And it's going to connect. When it goes green, it means you are connected. By the way, in terms of ExpressVPN, I recommend getting the 12-month subscription. You get 3 months free, and you'll be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free as well. So we're now connected to a UK server, as we saw, and now we're going to click on Watch Live. And unfortunately, the screen capture itself won't show the action, but you'll be able to hear that it is playing. Obviously, I can see it on my side, but it's just a screen capture software issue.
So this is it here. So basically,
and there we go. You can hear it going on. So I can pause it. I can play it. So it is currently, as I said, the screen capture software doesn't work. But it is currently going off in the background there. I'll just mute it. And it's as easy as that. And as I said, you'll be able to watch all the action on Saturday night via this method. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. But apart from that, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon. And we are live. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport for today's episode of the World Cup Selector. And it should be quite a cool one. We're doing scrum halves today, and we're really starting to come to the main part of the squad selection. As you can see over there, we've got a full pack which we have picked over the last 2 weeks to determine exactly who's going to go to France and who's not at this stage. Now, the next thing we need to do is pick some scrum halves. On Wednesday, we're going to pick some fly-halves. Next week, however, will be the last week of the series. We'll be doing centres as well as outside backs. And then we will be doing an episode where we will pick a final 23. So if you are new to the concept, it's quite simple. Basically, what we do is we throw out some names, you run some polls, and everybody goes and votes on exactly who they would like to see in the squad. And we kind of sit there building a squad like that. Basically, how we've been doing it is that we have been basing it on the last World Cup squad in terms of the number of players going in each position. And then we have got two additional players. We've got two additional spots, for example, that we can then use. So, for example, we, at this stage, have taken an extra forward in Jasper Wiese. We've taken an extra loose forward compared to what we took. I mean, in 2019, we took 5 loose forwards. And over here, you can see we've got 6 with Zirklis, Pierce, Toy, Dian Free, Quacker Smith, and Jasper Wiese. So the next thing we're going to do is pick 3 scrum halves, 3 fly halves, or 2 fly halves, really, because that's kind of what we went last time. And depending on what we're going to sort of classify. Because last time, David Bennett was classified as a fly half, although he sort of actually replaced JC Creel in the squad. So it's more sort of in as a utility back. But yeah, so we're going to be picking 2 fly halves on Wednesday. And then next week we're going to be clicking on 4 centres. And then we're going to do some outside backs, some wings and fullbacks. And eventually we will have a 23-man squad as chosen by you guys. And then we're going to be doing an episode where we'll be taking the 33-man squad and whittling down to a final 23, deciding who starts, who's on the bench. If we were to play a final tomorrow, basically what it would look like. And that's going to be really, really cool. So, yeah, first of all, a big thank you to everybody who's been involved so far. As I said, we've got about 5 episodes left in the series. It should be quite a lot of fun. We're now getting some very controversial ones. So today we're going to be doing scrum half. So you think of your Faf de Klerks, Jaden Hendrickson, Grant Williams, Kobus Reinachs, those sort of your main players. Hershey Yankees, for example, playing very well at the moment as well. So it should be interesting to see what we decide to do with the scrum halves. But yeah, go into some of the comments here. AC saying, I think the Humber is more of a utility player, can kick. I've disappointed or was part injured again. He didn't play yesterday because of a calf strain, but all signs point to the fact that he's actually all right. It was more precautionary thing than anything else, and certainly nothing that we need to be worried about with regards to the Springboks or the World Cup this year. But we'll talk a bit more about Pollard on Wednesday when we do our fly half. Today we are focusing on our number 9s. And so we're going to throw some names out. Back in 2019, we took Faf de Klerk, Hershey Yankees, Kobus Reinach. Faf de Klerk was the preferred starter. Hershey Yankees came off the bench, and Kobus Reinach played a couple of games. Playing very well at the moment is Kobus Reinach. Faf de Klerk, I think, is still probably the incumbent number 9. Jaden Hendrickson played a lot last year. Grant Williams has been invited to training camps as well, so interesting to see that he's involved. At this stage, Hershey Yankees not involved. He's kind of fallen out of favour. Although, as I said, in the last couple of weeks, I think that Hershey Yankees have been playing close to some of his best rugby that we've seen probably since the last World Cup, which is very cool to see. So hopefully he is starting to get himself back onto back into form and stuff like that. So without any further ado, let's start with building a poll, shall we? Who is the first number 9 into the squad? And I'm going to put in Faf de Klerk. I'm going to put in Kobus Reinach. I'm going to throw in Jaden Hendrickson. And I put in Grant Williams. Those are the 4 that seem to have been involved the most with the Boks over the last sort of year. So I'm going to throw that out there. You guys can go and get voting and stuff like that. For me, I'm very interested to see if Grant Williams might get an opportunity. He's probably been the form scrum half of the URC competition. And in fact, tomorrow I'm going to be having my URC team of the season from a segment basically coming out, which should be quite cool. Be interested to see what you guys have to say about that. Today as well, we're going to be doing a URC review. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a URC team of the week, which will come out as well as on Wednesday within 5 things learned from the URC. With regards to Curry Cup, we're going to be having a review coming out today as well as the 5 things learned on Wednesday. So that's kind of the Curry Cup content and stuff that's going to be coming up as well. And as I said, on Wednesday we'll be doing the next part of this series. And then from there, the rest of the week, we're sort of building up to the weekend. As the rugby sort of season, the domestic season kind of comes to an end. So we've been doing a lot more Curry Cup coverage on Friday. Hopefully we're going to be doing a Western Province versus Pumas as well as Sharks versus Cheetahs. Saturday, they've got the Griffins versus Griquas, Lions versus Bulls, Saturday at 5 o'clock. But also, we are going to be looking at the Champions Cup final, which is at 5:45 on Saturday as well. So we might even have 2 streams running at the same time during that game. LEINSTER versus La Rochelle at the Aviva Stadium, and that should be absolutely epic. And then next weekend, we've got the URC final, which at this stage is scheduled for 6:30 Stormers versus Munster next week, Saturday. Should be an absolute cracker as well. Top 14 is moving into sort of the final stage as well as Premiership, for example. We saw playoffs yesterday for Premiership begin. Top 14. Still got quite a few fixtures left. They sort of play quite late into the year. I think the Premiership final is scheduled for, I think it's next weekend. Then we get the URC final. So we'll be doing that as well. Saracens versus the Sale Sharks. Should be quite cool to see what happens there. Quite a few South Africans involved in the Sale Sharks, for example. So there we go. And without any further ado, I hope you guys are voting. And we've got 13 votes at the moment. Let's see if we can get that towards 15 votes. And then we'll sort of close it there. We'll add our first name to the sheet. At this stage, it looks like Faf de Klerk's getting quite a lot of support. Interesting to see the support that Grant Williams is getting. As I said, he's been playing very good rugby for the Sharks. Very different to sort of what this traditional, or what the Springbok scrum halves of recent times, sort of the mold that they're looking for. But it's got that X factor, doesn't it? You've got something that can do, you can do stuff that other people can't. Going to some of the comments. I'll be saying it's Holby, Faf, Heineken, and maybe Williams. Actually saying it should be Faf, Heineken, maybe Williams. Andrew's saying if Hendricks Bosch's name is good to play, then he'll get selected, no doubt. James White saying having Grant Williams on the bench gives us more versatility. If you go with a 6-2 split, because he can play on the wing. I think so does Stuart Raynoch, to be fair, from a pace perspective. But yeah, Grant Williams probably played a bit more on the wing than Raynoch has in recent times. We have got 15 votes, so I'm going to end it there. I'm going to add our first name to the list, which is going to be none other than the incumbent Faf de Klerk, who I thought started the season pretty averagely last year, but by the end of the year was playing much better rugby. I think we all know he is very important to the way that we play, in terms of the defensive structure, for example. Tactical kicking obviously a very important thing. We do play a lot of 9, and we kick a lot of 9 as well. So for example, Grant Williams, that's an area of his play that he's going to have to improve if he's going to want to play for the Springboks. That he needs to be very good with his tactical kicking and box kicking and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be interesting to see now who we're going to join him, because we're now going to another poll out, and who is the next number 9 on into the squad. And we're now going to take that click out. We're going to have Jaden Hendrickse. We're going to have Grant Williams. We're going to have Kobus Raynoch. And we're going to throw in Herschel Yankees. I've actually been very impressed with in the last sort of 6 weeks. Very interesting to see how he plays next weekend, and whether he can solidify a second URC title. So there we go. I'm going to throw that out there to you guys to start voting. Obviously, Raynoch and Williams offer similar things, so maybe have Hendrickse instead of Williams. Well, there we go. Let's go and see. So go and vote. As I said, we've now got almost over 20 people in the chat, so keep going and voting. And let me know who you guys are back and who you guys would like to see. As I said, at the end of the day, this is your team, so you guys get to decide who's who in the zoo. Right, go and get voting. We've got 11 votes so far, and it is neck and neck between Jane and Scott Williams, Cooper Dre, all with 33%. So we're going to need a lot more people voting here, so we can try and whittle down to one of those players. We need to get one player ahead. 12 votes, sitting yet, maybe 20 votes, maybe. If you are watching, please do keep going, go and vote. It's the whole point of the show. It is supposed to be very interactive, and you guys get an opportunity to sort of show your preference and have your say. So yeah, don't be scared. Go and vote and go and add your 2 cents, and let's build us a nice little squad to go and win the World Cup in France, shall we? And again, as I keep mentioning, in August, then when the final squad is selected, we'll then do a review and see how close we got to the final squad that the Springbok management are going to be taking to France. In terms of domestic rugby, as I said, we've got about 2 or 3 weeks left, really. I think the top 14 final is quite late. I think that's in about mid-June. But the rest of it will all come to an end next weekend. The Premiership, URC, as well as the Champions Cup. I think the Challenge Cup is on this Friday, actually. Yeah, final starts at 8 o'clock on Friday. Glasgow Warriors versus Toulon. So Chase and Colby will be involved in that, which should be quite fun to see how he goes there. We've got 18 votes, 19 votes. If we can get one more vote, then I'm going to close the poll there. Although I think mathematically, I think the decision has basically been made. So in fact, we can actually end it there. And the second name onto the list is going to be Jaden Hendrickse, which is probably about right. I think, those two played the most last year. I do wonder if what would have been like if Kobus Raynoch had been fit last year, how much more he would have played. I think that injury really giving an opportunity for Jaden Hendrickse to come through and get a lot more game time than probably anybody really thought. But now we're going to be talking about who's the last scrum off. And I want to know who the fourth person we should add in. So give me an option here. We're going to be putting in Kobus Raynoch. We're going to be putting in Grant Williams. And we're going to be putting in Herschel Yankees. I want you guys to give me a fourth option. Who is the outside shot? Who would we like to see? Somebody's playing in the Humber. He's actually been involved in the Springbok setup before. He played in that Springbok Gold versus Springbok Green game, which was quite a lot of fun. So at this stage, I'm going to put Tanena Humber in there, unless anybody else throws out a name, but I think that's probably about right. So let's throw out that poll, shall we? The last name into our scrum off list. Go and vote for it down in the comments there. Let us know who you are backing to go to France, occupying that final scrum half spot. As I said, at this stage, we've got Faf de Klerk, Jaden Hendrickse, and who will be the third and final scrum off into the squad before on Wednesday we then do our 2 fly halves. And yeah, I think Ryan Liebach, for example, is definitely going to be somebody who's going to be talked about a lot on Wednesday with regards to whether he should be going or not. Alton Yankees has been playing a lot more rugby, playing in the Brody too. He looks to get himself back into a bit of form and get some game time under his belt. Andre Pollard in much better form at the moment. Jan Gewis not really taking his opportunities. So I think at this stage it's probably, between those sort of three. Cohen Bosch played pretty good rugby, but I don't think we're going to see him in the box setup anytime too soon. Rob Dupre's playing pretty well over there, but again, I don't think you're not going to see somebody who hasn't been part of the squad suddenly pop up in the World Cup. Yeah, I just don't see it happening. Right, 13 votes. Come, it's our last name. So let's try and see if we can get 20 votes. Please do go and vote, and then let's see what we come up with. Get our 3 scrum offs done. Right, 13 votes at the moment. Of course, Radnock does seem to be leading the way. It seems between him and Grant William. 14 votes, 24 people watching. Let's see if we can get that 20 vote mark. As soon as we get 20 votes, I will end it, and we will have our 3 scrum offs as our squad. Nears the end, really. After this, we have 21 or 33 players, so just 12 spaces remaining after this episode. After Wednesday, we'll have 23, and then next week we will be putting the final spots on the squad, and then we're going to be trying to build a 23 from that squad to basically like what would be our best 23. Who would be on the bench, who would start, who wouldn't be involved at all, for example, which is going to be a lot of fun. And again, what would be quite interesting to sort of start comparing the kind of Springbok teams we do see in the World Cup compared to what we predicted we were going to see, and see how much we've actually learned over the last few years in terms of how the Springbok management do operate, and whether we agree on the way they operate, whether we agree on some of the calls they make, or whether we don't. So, yeah, interesting times ahead. Right, how are our votes looking over here? We've got 18 votes. Surely we can get 20 votes, people. Please do keep voting. It's neck and neck, actually. So it's 50-50. So we do need to get a lot more votes in. So if you haven't voted, please do go and vote. Please do go and throw your weight behind someone, Put the cock on the block, as they say, and back someone. And let's see if everybody agrees with you or not. Interesting to see how this has become so close. I think a year ago, Grant Williams wouldn't even have been in the conversation. Now, neck and neck with Kobus Reinach to see who at this stage is the preferred option. 19 votes, 20 votes. We're back to 50-50. Come on, people. Let's see if we can get the votes going. See if we can get 22 votes, 23 votes. All right, 27 votes, 28 votes. I did not vote, actually, just asking that. I don't vote at all. We can't vote. I'd have to log into a different account. $28 votes. Questions, can we get to 30 votes? I don't think enough people there, so let's end the poll there. Right, and Grant Williams did get some support, but a late surge at the back was enough. And Kobus Reinach will be the man on the plane, which means that at this stage we are taking Faf de Klerk and Kobus Reinach to their second World Cup, whilst Jane Anderson will be making his first appearance. So if we look at the squad so far, for example, in terms of their experience and who would be at their first World Cups, and second World Cup, stuff like that. It would be first World Cups for Joseph Dweber, Oxen Chair, Dion Fourie, Jasper Wiese, and Jaden Hendrickson. So only sort of five or six new faces that will be going to their first World Cup out of a squad of 21 so far. So it's quite a nice experience. That means that we've got about 15 World Cup winners in the squad. And I think that experience is important. And if you listen to the Springboks manager during some of their press conference stuff like that, they talk about the amount how experience is so important. If you look at the average age of World Cup winning squads, they're sort of in their late 20s, and that's something that a lot of thinking goes into in terms of being able to sort of put that experience in, and how many sort of tests. And that's, they usually sort of have an average amount of sort of 30 to 40 test matches, whereas, so that's why, been getting experience. So, I mean, if you look at, for example, Malcolm Marks, Bongi Manambi, Stephen Kitsoff, Frans Moherbe, I think Vincent Koch has done it, Eben Etzebeth, Lourdes Diago, Franco Mostert, Sia Klisi, PSG, Victoria, Dwayne Mullen, all played, Patrick I think is closing in, all played sort of 50 plus matches for South Africa. So they're all sort of half and share. If you look at Patrick, I'm not sure how many games he's played, but it'll be close to that. That 50 margin. I'm sure by the time he gets to the World Cup, it'll be close to 50 caps there. So a lot of experience in the number of tests that a lot of these players played, and sort of the age that they played, and I think that's important when it comes to sort of those high pressure situation. Then you often rely and you lean on that sort of experience as well. So people, thank you very much. That is the next episode done. We have got our scrum halves. Wednesday we'll be doing fly halves for 22 and 23. Then we're going to be doing 4 centers, which will take us to about 27, 28. 4 centers, which takes us to 20, and then outside backs, and then we've got an additional spot as well. We can actually even give it to a forward if you want to. We can add additional scrum half, we can add additional fly half. So yeah, that should be quite cool to see how that's going to go. Please do smash the like on the video. If you're new, please do subscribe to the channel as well, as we're closing in on 25,000 subscribers. Fun fact, actually, the channel hit 8 million views this morning, which is quite cool. We're going to try and double that in the next year with the World Cup and so much more rugby. So please do be part of that journey if you are new. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys all on Wednesday for the next episode of your World Cup Squad Builder. Think about who you want for fly half, because on Wednesday we'll be voting for exactly that. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. But today's guide on how to watch the Champions Cup final live. Leinster versus La Rochelle at the Aviva Stadium. It should be an absolutely epic encounter. The question is, did Leinster and La Rochelle gamble last weekend to play weekend teams? La Rochelle playing in a league game, so far less consequences. But for Leinster, they crashed out of the URC because they are so focused on this game. Now, is it worth the gamble? We're going to find out. We will be live for the game as well, so do come and join us. But in terms of watching all the action, you can watch it on several different free-to-air broadcasters, which means it's easier than ever to watch the action with a VPN if you're outside these territories. Before we tell you exactly how to do it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so it is being shown on RTE, it's being shown on ITV, and it's being shown on France TV, which means you've got three different options. You have to be in either the UK or France to access them. If you're outside the UK or France, you will still be able to access them, but with a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, which looks something like that. Link in the description. Basically, what it'll do is it'll geolocate your device to make it seem as if you are in a different country. In this case, we can put ourselves in the UK. And as a result, you're then going to be able to watch ITV for free. And all you have to do is register. You don't have to do any credit card details, whatever. Connect to a UK server, and you can watch. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to those three little dots on the right-hand side. You're going to it'll open up all the various locations. You're going to go to the UK. Now, we're currently not connected, which means that when you go to ITV, it says this. Due to our broadcast content license, you can only watch ITV in the UK. Cool. So we're then going to go back to our VPN, and we're going to turn it on. And it's going to connect. When it goes green, it means you are connected. By the way, in terms of ExpressVPN, I recommend getting the 12-month subscription. You get 3 months free, and you'll be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free as well. So we're now connected to a UK server, as we saw, and now we're going to click on Watch Live. And unfortunately, the screen capture itself won't show the action, but you'll be able to hear that it is playing. Obviously, I can see it on my side, but it's just a screen capture software issue.
So this is it here. So basically,
and there we go. You can hear it going on. So I can pause it. I can play it. So it is currently, as I said, the screen capture software doesn't work, but it is currently going off in the background there. I'll just mute it, and it's as easy as that. And as I said, you'll be able to watch all the action on Saturday night via this method. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. But apart from that, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon. Right, hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby. We are live and it is episode number 246, I think, 6. Props, hookers, locks, loose forwards. Yeah, episode number 6. We're doing fly halves today. We are choosing a fan-chosen Rugby World Cup squad. And today is going to be an interesting one because we have to add just 2 players, but arguably the most important 2 players to the Springbok squad that we will be taking to France. So far, this is what our squad looks like. We've got a pack. We've got 3 scrum halves. Today, we need to go and add 2 fly halves to the mix. And very interested to see what the options we vote for are, as well as what who we're going to back and who we're going to pick. So yeah, it's going to be quite cool to see what we come up with, and you know, because obviously, you know, then people watch it back, and whether people you know, agree with the decision we make or disagree with the decision. So it should all be quite a lot of fun. And yeah, basically how it works, if you are new to this, is that we discuss a couple of options, we throw some names together, and we then put up a poll and we vote on which options we prefer, and based on that, we will then come down to a final decision. And today we're going to be adding squad number 22 and 23 to the mix. And then on Monday, we'll be doing centers. I think we're going to pick about 4 centers, and then outside backs and an additional player. So next week, Wednesday, we will have a full squad of 33. And then on Thursday, we will then be doing a final 23. Like if you were to play in a World Cup final tomorrow, what would our 23 look like? So we are getting there. We are very much getting there. And it's been some interesting decisions. There's been some interesting calls. I think we've got a pretty strong squad happening at the moment. And hopefully today we'll add 2 good additions to it. So the big questions are, just our fly-half options. Is Damian Willemse a fly-half option, for example? Is Elton Jantjies an option at all? Is he going to be considered for the World Cup? Does Monie Bok make it? Andre Pollard is probably quite a straightforward option. Other potential options, you had Hudson as an outside option that some people are talking about. I don't think he's really done enough since came back from injury to really justify really being in the conversation, to be brutally honest. But some people might disagree with that. Some people might say that he has been pretty good and that he could get an opportunity. So, yeah, it's all about personal preference, isn't it? And that's why we then put it up to a vote, so we can also come up with a general consensus of who should go. So before we put up our first poll, let's start throwing up some names. Obviously, I think Marty Leibach's going to be involved. Andre Pollard's going to be involved. Alton Yankees has to be involved because he has been the second choice fly half for the last 5 years, 6 years almost. In fact, yeah, he and Pollard have been the two fly half options probably about the last 8 years, really. We haven't really had anybody else since Pat Lambie retired. So Marty Leibach got 2 games, two matches off the bench last year. Not too many caps there, so very new to Test match rugby. Is that enough? Jan Goosen, for example, talks about the fact that he was, back in Springbok training camps, for example, lineman camps, but he still wasn't even fit at the time, which I think probably sort of sums him up, really. So, yeah, interesting to see. A couple of people are talking about Rob Dupree, and the rugby's playing over for sale. They're actually in the final, in the Premiership final, although he did play at inside centre. Due to the fact that George Ford is playing in the number 10 over there. So the question is, who is our fourth person we're going to add? So my first poll is going to be Andre Pollard, Marty Leibach, Alton Yankees. The question is, who do you want to throw into that equation as well? Who's our fourth flower half? Is it Chris Smith? Is it Johan Goosen? Is it Rob Dupree? Is it, is it Curran Bosch? Some people talking about Curran Bosch playing some good rugby. Let me know what some of your options are. But yeah, let's go to the comments. Hello, Angelo, hope you're well. Vic saying Leibach over Alton any day. So you saying missed the last live. Amazing to see how many of our weaker spots in terms of depth is now one of the most contested. Would love to see Grant Williams in the mix at 9. Well, he was in the mix. He was edged out by Kobus Reinach, but he did get quite a few views, so he was definitely on the table to potentially make that squad. Just missing out there. And yeah, I agree. And that's not even considering Herschel Yankees, who's the Rugby World Cup winner. Not had his best couple of years, but personally, I think starting to look a bit like the Hershey Yankees that went to the World Cup, and we're using a situation where every touch turned to goal. And I do think in the last sort of month, and then potentially, he could, if he goes and puts in a world-class performance next weekend, could help the Stormers win back-to-back URCs. That's got to come from something, doesn't it? For scrum half, he's not playing particularly well. To go and get back-to-back trophies is pretty impressive. So yeah, I do think that scrum half-wise, we're looking pretty good. Fly half-wise, I think we've got a lot of young options, very young options. I'm very keen to see what Sia Masuka is going to do at the Sharks next season. You really want to see how Sasha Fainberg and Gomazulu comes through, how Kate Voliter comes through, for example. Obviously, Jordan Hendrickson needs to get back from injury, and then it'll be very interesting to see how he's going to go there. There's quite a lot of young flower halves coming up. They're a very different type of flower half. I think if we go back 10 years, we wanted flower halves who were pretty physical, who had very good kicky games, but we didn't really necessarily need them to have a lot of flair or really good distribution game in terms of sort of those like a Finn Russell sort of style play. We generally favoured your sort of Mornay Stain. Andre Pollard is quite different to Mornay Stain, but sort of very solid in certain areas. But I wouldn't say a lot of X factor. I wouldn't say like this sort of very high risk, high reward type of players. Sort of mercurial type of flower halves. But the flowers coming up through now are far more creative, far more innovative. Like to try and put players in space. Like to really sort of vary their attack, and so we see more flowers come up in the molds of like your Marty Leibachs, your Alton Yankees. They like their cross kicks. They like their offloads. They like putting players on the front line, not necessarily just sort of controlling and marshalling a game. Maybe is a good word. Maybe necessarily we're not sort of bringing back the marshallers. Although any good flower half will marshal game, will be the general inverted commas. They just do it very differently. Sometimes some of them will marshal the game in terms of directing where we're going to hit up the forwards, where we're going to sort of hit up our centres, and then where we're going to sort of try tactically sort of outsmart the opposition. Now we're seeing flower halves who control the game by controlling where the game is being played. A cross kick in behind, a little chip over the top, for example, adding a bit of variation to try and create different spaces or pockets of space really to try and exploit. And there's no sort of real right or wrong answer. Lots of people sit there saying Andre Pollard isn't, a flary 10, but he's won a World Cup. You can't really argue that, can you? So same as Butch James. I think if you look at all our World Cup winning fly halves, they've never been those sort of X factor attacking natured fly halves. They're defensively very solid and pretty good with the boot. So it's going to be interesting to see how we sort of evolve and how we might have to be forced to adapt to the new sort of generation coming through. Albert says, Lerock over Yankees. Lerock got his mind right. Albert saying, if it's up to the coaches, it'll be Hurston. Then throwing it to Hazard, where's Amin and why is Sia at 13? Because this is a squad, not a 23, which is why, for example, Dwayne Fabinho will not be playing at full pack. Peter Steph-Toy and Frederick Moss will not be our wings. Lua Diago will definitely not be playing in flower half. This is purely a squad, not a final 23. So yeah, the question is, who is our fourth one that we want to throw into? Who do we want to add to it? So we've got one shout for Rob Dupree. Do you want to throw in a Jan Hurton? Do you want to throw in a Chris Smith, for example? Where are we at? Who is the first flower half into the squad? I'm going to put in Money Libok, Andre Pollard. I'm going to throw in Alton Yankees. And we're going to throw in Rob Dupree. Right, go and get voting. To answer your question, Alton Yankees has been playing a lot of rugby this year. And he's been playing in the Brody too. He signed that short-term deal to try and get back on the field. And I think he's played about 700 or 800 minutes so far. They actually made the playoffs. They lost, Adrian. But he has been playing. And by all accounts, I've heard he's been playing pretty well as well, which is pretty good to see. Even if you don't like him, for example, we need as many options as possible because it's all very well saying, "Cool, we'll go with Pollard and Money Libok." One of them gets injured, we need Alton Yankees to come in. It's not really a conversation we can ignore. So yeah, he's played 636 minutes in the Pro D2 this season. Which is cool to see. Just for 600 minutes, he's had an 81% tackle success rate, for example. He's kicked at 86%. He scored 65 points across the 11 games he's played, so averaging about 6 points a game. He's averaging 13 minutes a tackle, 13 minutes a carry, 106 part. He's beaten 12 defenders, got 2 try assists, a clean break, 40 penalty goals, a conversion, 1 drop goal. So yeah, from what I've heard, he has been playing pretty well. And that's good. At the end of the day, regardless of whether everybody's got a preference, for example, but we've got to have depth, don't we? It's easy having this squad on paper that we really love, but injuries are a real thing, and so we do need to have as many options available, and especially options of people who can come into the squad and fit in quite quickly. Obviously, Pollard and Libok are playing top class rugby at the moment. Dupree is not far behind them. I was saying not Chris Smith for World Cup, must be Pollard. Christian saying, glad to eventually catch you live. Missed all the other lives. This will probably be the most easy selection with 2 flowers. Yeah, well, turn your notification on and you'll get a little notification if the live comes. Although some people have said they haven't been getting notifications, so please let me know if you do get live notifications when we do go live, because we are trying to chat to YouTube about it and saying that we're getting a lot of feedback from people saying that they're not getting those notifications, which is very frustrating. So yeah, any feedback would be great, because when we tell them that it's not working, they sort of say, well, it's all working from our side, and we're saying, I'm glad it's working from your side, but our followers just aren't getting notifications. But yeah, Vic's saying, I would suggest to play with Libok starting during the June test and give him experience. Well, that's the next sort of question, isn't it? Is the fact that if you're now going to add Money Libok to the squad, okay, he's only played, 40 minutes of Test match rugby, I think. That might even be a bit generous. 58 minutes. I'll take it all back. He's played 58 minutes of Test match rugby, so he's not even played a full 80. So it's a difficult one, because you don't want to take a flower half to the World Cup who's played 60 minutes of international rugby. You want him to have played a couple of games. So you do probably need to give him some game time in the 6 build-up games. Same time, Andre Pollard missed a lot of last season through injury. we need to get him up to standard in the Springbok jersey. Now, yes, he is a player that we don't need to worry about too much. He's been there, he's done that. He's literally won a World Cup. So literally got there, been there, got the T-shirt and the medal. But yeah, we've got 6 matches, and we probably need to give them about 3 each. Because I think, Manie Libbok, if he's going to be an option, if he's going to be the second choice, needs to play and needs to understand the systems. And if Damien Willemse, for example, is a genuine option, and like he was at the end of year tour last year, was actually preferred ahead of Manie Libbok, then he also needs to play a bit there. So it's difficult to see how we're going to spread the minutes to make sure that everyone is in form and everyone is playing their best rugby. Butter saying, I'll get notifications. Christian saying, didn't get any notifications last week, but got today's. Well, I suppose that's a nice thing. You might need to sort your side because the video comes through laggy for me and i5G. Well, let me know if anybody else has got an issue with lag or anything with the stream. As I said, from my side, we're broadcasting strongly at 5,000 kilobits per second, which is more than what you need for a smooth HD stream. So shouldn't be. So if anybody else is having those issues, then let us know. And again, we can try and engage YouTube and try and find out what's going on. Joan says, off top, but I always thought Arno Boerten and Marcel Coetzee should have been 50+ cap players, especially with their current form. Yeah, look, probably injuries have never helped them, especially Marcel Coetzee, who often got injured at like sort of the worst times. Playing really good rugby, becoming really important for the Springboks, bang, injured. It's amazing how so many careers that should have been, and those are always the worst type, aren't they? It also doesn't help that they're playing in positions where we have had such little depth. So, for example, if Arceus Neyman was a flank, we probably wouldn't be worrying about him right now. We probably wouldn't even be talking about the fact he's going to go to the World Cup, to be perfectly honest. Like, yes, he's a very special player, but I'm just saying that's a position, those are positions where there is so much depth. Whereas I think at lock, we've got some decent locks, but nothing in this sort of the same caliber. I think our 4 top locks of even Edsbeth, Loa Diago, Franco Master, to be considered a lock, and Arceus Neyman are very much in a league of their own. And then there's a bit of a step down to your Marvin Ory. He's a very solid player, not necessarily got the same sort of X factor. Your Salman Murats, for example. I think, your Ruben van Heerdens, for example, I think we'll definitely get that. I've been very impressed with running for Mark, Ronald Kier. Jake White wants to move to bulk a bit, which I don't think is probably the worst thing for him. But you don't want to lose that work rate and that mobility around the park as well. So it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation. But yeah, Peter May say, will Wilson be a backup to Pollard? Well, we have to see in the test only. I think it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do in the June series or in the Rugby Championship. Whether they decide that they want to go with Pollard all 3 matches, try and win the Rugby Championship, for example. They always say that they pick the best available side, but there's also has to be a certain amount of rotation to ensure that everyone's in their best possible frame of playing and the squad's ready to go and win a World Cup. Let's be honest, that's the only thing we care about. South Africans, we probably wouldn't be mind coming last in the Rugby Championship if we go and win the World Cup. That's we've always looked at that as our sort of our big one. And why not, really? It is the biggest showpiece. I think our biggest frustration has probably been our lack of performances outside World Cup years, although we have won the last 2 British National Lions series. But we probably want to win more rugby championships in between World Cup years, And that's probably our sort of our next step as a rugby nation, to become more consistent and winning trophies consistently, as opposed to, select World Cups and series and sort of every now and again type thing. Matthew saying, Arceus Neyman to 10 straight away. How many matches will be played per team in the Rugby Championship? So it'll be 3 matches. Everyone's going to play each other once. We do play Argentina twice this year, but one will be as a friendly, and then we play England and New Zealand as well in pre-World Cup matches. No, not England, Wales. We've got Wales in Cardiff, and we've got New Zealand and Twickenham in August. So Albert says, honestly, to keep out now the squad, I'll gladly settle for Libbok. Joan says, I think Boerten and Coetzee should be squeezed to milk their value when they have experience, because experienced players don't last as long as youthful players. Josh saying, I'll keep Willemse at fullback. Albert saying, Willemse will only play at 10 if we have more than one injury at 10. Really can also be back up 10 off the bench in emergencies. He hasn't played there a bit in the Japanese league. Obviously, the Rugby Championship doesn't really matter in the World Cup. Yeah, who will start at 15? It's a very good question, isn't it? Next week, Thursday, we can decide who wants to start at 13, because once we've got our full squad, we're then going to do a stream where we'll decide who will be our top 23 and who will start the combinations and stuff like that. So now these are the building blocks. And then next week Thursday we're going to build a house, a World Cup winning house as well. So I'm going to close the poll there. Probably could have closed it a while, to be fair, because Andre Pollard is going to be the first name onto the list. Shock and horror. Good to see him playing some of his best rugby, and he's got through the season unscathed, despite not playing last weekend. So hopefully you'll be able to get down here and start training with the box quite quickly. And we're then going to add in a second poll, who is the other fly half in the squad. We're going to throw in Money Libok. We're going to throw in Rob Dupree. We're going to throw in Elton Yankees. And who else should we throw? Should we throw in Jan Koersen just because he was on the radar? That probably makes the most sense to me. So we'll throw those ones in. Let's see if we can get up to 35 sort of votes on that one. Then we'll add our second fly half to the equation. France has an injury update. I haven't heard anything from the Cheetahs. Still not playing at the moment. I personally think that could potentially rule him out of the World Cup. He's just not played a lot of rugby. I mean, let's go see how much rugby he actually has played. Because I mean, obviously he's only really sort of had France Spain. Wow. Ultimate Rugby have listed him as a loose head prop. That's so hectic. I mean, to be fair, I mean, you look at 36 years old, 112 kgs, 191 centimeters, but the man could probably do a job at prop. Just because he's so talented, he could probably do a job most places. It is a bit hectic to list him as a loose head prop, though. His last match was the 9th of January. This must be a different profile, to be fair. Because this is the inside profile. It's the same weight, but imagine it. You can't believe they've got two profiles. One is a loose head prop and one is an inside center. It's pretty wild. Yeah, so the last time he played was 24th of March. Hasn't played since then. He played 80 minutes, then played 80 minutes against the Griffins. So let's see how many minutes he's played this season so far. So according to Ultimate Rugby, he's played 247 minutes in the 2023 season. He played 50 minutes in the Challenge Cup. He's played 165 minutes in the Champions, in the Currie Cup. So all those other minutes coming from the Rugby Championship and stuff like that. So he's not played a lot of rugby this season, which is a bit worrying. But yeah, it's interesting to see what they're going to do with him, whether they decide that his experience and what he brings to the table is enough to take him under Cook, because he's just not played a lot of rugby. But Vic saying France Day must just focus on club rugby and focus on retirement. Obviously, as much as I love France, he's played no rugby and he's not fit at all. Jean said Rob Dupree has got more Northern Hemisphere experience, particularly in Champions Cup, played against English, French, Irish, Scottish and Welsh clubs. Chat says, if Alton is on form, I'll back him as second 10. Peter says, I heard that Pollard is injured. Do you have any details on his current injury? I think it's a calf issue from what I hear, but a strain, nothing serious. He's walking around freely. He was there after the game, chatting to people and stuff like that. So it was more like they didn't want to risk him. Wasn't fit enough to play that game, but certainly not long term. Could very well be training with the box in a couple of weeks' time type thing. So no issues there, as far as I understand. Got through the half, played very well. Let's look at his stats actually. Interesting to see what his stats actually ended up looking like in his first season of the Premiership. Let's see, shall we? In the Premiership, he played 630 minutes, 10 games. He had an 80% kick success rate, scoring 96 points, a 77 tackle success rate. He scored 4 tries, 10 penalties, goals, 23 conversions, 15 bad passes, 62 tackles, 19 missed tackles, a tackle success rate of 77%. He beat 11 defenders, 4 try assists, 4 clean breaks. He averaged a try every 157 minutes, not bad. A carry every 18 minutes and a tackle every 10 minutes. So it looks like they are definitely at least using him defensively as they probably should be. But yeah, we do not need to panic about his availability. Unless something happens in training and stuff like that, he should be fit to start in the first Premier game of the year. Right, we run the poll. We've got the results. And guess what, right? Money Libok, despite your only 59 minutes of Test match rugby. People are backing you to go to the World Cup. And look, why not? If he's going to play like he is, why not at the end of the day? The question is, can he sort of adapt it to the Bok game plan and implement a Bok game plan? That's always the question. That was always the criticism that Alton Yankees had, that he couldn't sort of play to the Springbok style of play. But look, the way that Monty Bok's playing at the moment, he's playing with so much confidence. For me, the fact he's a confidence player is why he could work, but also why he couldn't work. I think he's one of those players where if he gets going and he's on form and on song and playing with confidence, he's a very difficult player to keep out of the game. He's gone back-to-back man of the match performances, quarterfinals, semi-finals, so he's playing unbelievable rugby at the moment. The problem with players like that is if they do have a bad game, or they're at a bad start, for example, they can sometimes crumble a little bit. I think that's something that Andre Parler's quite good at. He's mentally quite good at that sort of situation. If you look at his stats, by the way, he's played 1,400 minutes in the URC, scoring 208 points. 36 defenders beaten, 12 try assists, 11 clean breaks. His tackle success rate is 73%. So the worst technically of himself, Alton and Pollard, but scoring far more tries, far more points, playing more minutes than the other combined. This is just in the URC, by the way. If we then look at the Champions Cup, for example, he played an additional 337 minutes. So he's played about 1,800 minutes. Tackle success rate probably averaging about 73, 74. Kick success rate in the Champions Cup was 67%. In the URC was 76%. So it is something he needs to work on. But 36 defenders beaten and 12 try assists is probably the main sort of stat that we're going to focus on. But yeah, I'll be saying Willemse to start 15 with Leroux off the bench. Rochelle saying also depends on the game plan. Pollard and Liebach have very different styles. Alvin Lincoln saying realistically, Pollard, Liebach, and Dupre probably a good bet for World Cup unless Rassi thinks out of the box. And Murray saying, who do you think will take 13 if, God forbid, Lecanio gets injured? Well, the two options are to be either shift Damien Delendi to outside centre. You can play Damien Willemse at inside centre, or Andre Estes at inside centre, or alternatively, you go and pick Jesse Creel outside centre, which is where he plays rugby. Be interested to see if people do back Jesse Creel to make the squad. I'm telling you right now, he's going to the World Cup. I can tell you this for free. In terms of the actual squad that the coaching staff will pick, but be interested to see if the viewers and you guys believe he should be going. Right, there we go. That's another episode in the bag. We will be live once again on Monday. That'll be going to be picking in centers. So think about your Damon Delendus, your Andre Estesens, your Lecanio Ams, your Jesse Creels, your Ruanels maybe, your who else could be on the horizon? I would have liked to. I think if Henkoop and Baker played a full season, I think he could have been. Probably would have made the squad, but he would very much, I think, probably be in the Springbok mix. Needs to come back and have a good season next season. So hopefully he will do just that. A lot of injury issues at the moment for the youngster. But Tim Berg says, SA Rugby Twitter isn't ready for this conversation, but Rob Dupre is in good enough form to get a spot. Well, we have to wait and see, won't we? But yeah, people, thank you very much. We will see you guys on Monday. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for the Rugby Fan Forum, which will be live as usual on a Thursday evening. So do come and join us for that. And apart from that, do smash like the video, do subscribe to the channel. We are like 80 people short of 25,000 subscribers, so it's a very annoying number. Hopefully we'll get there on Saturday for all the live over the weekend and the live streams we do have. But if you are new to the channel, then just go and subscribe in the meantime. Cool. Thanks guys. I'll see you guys next week. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. But today's guide on how to watch the Champions Cup final live. Leinster versus La Rochelle at the Aviva Stadium. It should be an absolutely epic encounter. The question is, did Leinster and La Rochelle gamble last weekend to play weekend teams? La Rochelle playing it in a league game, so far less consequences. But for Leinster, they crashed out of the URC because they are so focused on this game. Now, is it worth the gamble? We're going to find out. We will be live for the game as well, so do come and join us. But in terms of watching all the action, you can watch it on several different free-to-air broadcasters, which means it's easier than ever to watch the action with a VPN if you're outside these territories. Before we tell you exactly how to do it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so it is being shown on RTE, it's being shown on ITV, and it's being shown on France TV, which means you've got three different options. You have to be in either the UK or France to access them. If you're outside the UK or France, you will still be able to access them, but with a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, which looks something like that. Link in the description. Basically, what it'll do is it'll geolocate your device to make it seem as if you are in a different country. In this case, we can put ourselves in the UK. And as a result, you're then going to be able to watch ITV for free. And all you have to do is register. You don't have to do any credit card details, whatever. Connect to a UK server, and you can watch. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to those three little dots on the right-hand side. You're going to that'll open up all the various locations. You're going to go to the UK. Now, we're currently not connected, which means that when you go to ITV, it says this. Due to our broadcast content license, you can only watch ITV in the UK. Cool. So we're then going to go back to our VPN, and we're going to turn it on. And it's going to connect. When it goes green, it means you are connected. By the way, in terms of ExpressVPN, I recommend getting the 12-month subscription. You get 3 months free, and you'll be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free as well. So we're now connected to a UK server, as we saw, and now we're going to click on Watch Live. And unfortunately, the screen capture itself won't show the action, but you'll be able to hear that it is playing. Obviously, I can see it on my side, but it's just a screen capture software issue.
So this is it here. So basically,
and there we go. You can hear it going on. So I can pause it. I can play it. So it is currently, as I said, the screen capture software doesn't work, but it is currently going off in the background there. I'll just mute it, and it's as easy as that. And as I said, you'll be able to watch all the action on Saturday night via this method. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. But apart from that, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon. Going live, and we are live. Hello everybody, and welcome to your favorite rugby Thursday night 7 o'clock show. I feel like that's pretty fair. I mean, maybe there's another one out there, but we'll just assume it. If you're watching this, to be fair, it must be your favorite one because you're not watching the other one.
I'm about to say your only Thursday night rugby show.
The best Thursday night 7 o'clock rugby show. The Rugby Fan Forum, and I'm joined as usual by the usual suspects, Mr. Reza the Rumbler, as he is now going to as he's now preferred to be called. So very quickly, I think Reza will just shout out the new Instagram. So Reza the Rumbler on IG, eh?
Yeah, unfortunately, appropriately named by you, Steve. I won't say the reason why, but anyone who plays golf will relate. But yeah, check it out if you can.
Yeah, okay. And then we're joined by Mr. Curtips himself. I'm not sure if he does Instagram, but he is on at the Crow Tips on Twitter. Chris, apart from your flurry of a life, how are things treating you?
Yeah, other than that, yeah, not too bad. Thanks, Stevie. How are things with you?
Yeah, look, it's tough out here. Where there's warnings of stage 8 load shedding. Managed to heat up dinner before the show, so I'm sorted. I know Reason's on the clock. They're trying to make sure we've got a bit of food for later. So we're coping as best we can out here. I found out that Damon Fento, who was the Lions' young hooker that played SA under 20s, is on the bench for the Sharks tomorrow, so that was a nice way to start the evening. Didn't even know we had left. So I suppose I could say I've been better, but what can you do? What can you do? Such is the life of being a Lions fan. So
the player drain continues, I suppose.
Yeah, it would just be nice if they could just tell us, just like a little bit of a heads up.
Oh,
I see you selected Frankie Horn for the Springboks, going all the way.
Yeah, no, so I did my URC team of the season and put Frankie in at 8, which actually I thought was going to be quite controversial. It was actually very boring because all the comments are like, yeah, fair. And I was like, argue with me, people. Tell me he's not. But everybody's like, yeah, well, Ulrich was pretty average. Notche played half the season. Pepsi played half the season. Evan Lewis didn't really play. And Diamani was kind of effort everywhere. So.
But so your URC team, right? Because I think Vista's probably the incumbent now.
Yeah, so I did an SA-based URC team of the season. So for example, I didn't include like a Dwayne Muir, for example. So just out of the 4 SA sides, who were the top performing players.
Yeah, it would have been Roos last year, but Frankie's earned it because
Yeah, so chat's got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got a Leinster F-up, is what some of the fans are talking about. I've created a bit of a stir because I asked the question, have they disrespected the competition by fielding a B-side and getting knocked out? Stormers doing the business. Leinster could be, however, Champions Cup winners a week after their stuff up, so maybe they could be making amends. We can talk about the pros and cons of that. We've got Cheslin Colby chasing yet another trophy in his career. I was actually looking, that guy's basically almost won everything, bar like Super Rugby. It's like won everything he could have. So, yeah, pretty big game for him tomorrow.
Send
And
Chesney to the Crusaders, huh?
this is the thing. Surely as a player, you must sit there going, like, do I just do like literally, do I do a 1 season sabbatical Crusaders? Do I do like a season in like Saracens and see if I can just do it all?
Sure, why not? I mean, it's there for the taking.
So yeah, we'll see how he does tomorrow. And then we've got a bit of Springbok news because they are back in training. And we've got a very interesting, not really an update, but a teaser. He's teasing us. And we're going to start with that as the Siya Kolisi news, which I'm sure is why everybody's here to find out what we mean by will Siya Kolisi make the Rugby World Cup. And I'll tell you exactly what we mean. So Mr. Siya himself posted, I think it was yesterday. First of all, for those that don't know, the Springboks are currently in Durban. They are having their first alignment camp of the semi-post club season. Basically, everybody whose seasons come to an end are down there. So it's the Japanese players who are finished. It's the URC players who are finished. I don't think no Premiership players are down there, and no top 14 players. Obviously, that hasn't finished yet. So yeah, it's kind of the usual suspects. The interesting inclusions were Grant Williams and Marco van Staden, who continue to sort of be involved in the group. And then because it's an alignment camp and there are, I think, only about 2 or 3 on-field stations and quite a few off-field stations, those who are currently not available for selection are also there, Siya Kolisi being one of them. Now, the good news is we did see him jumping off a bus quite casually and sort of walked off. But he posted yesterday a video of himself cycling. No bandages or support or whatever like that, with the caption day 17. Now it's difficult to really read into it, but one wouldn't imagine if you're on a 6 to 8, 9 month recovery, I don't think you'd be posting day 17 as if it's that far down the line. So this is now beg the question, is he going to be available? And what was quite interesting is they actually released a press release 2 weeks ago, very short press release, just saying that he had undergone surgery, that it was successful, the surgeon was happy. They're not going to put a return date on it, and they'll issue an update in due course. So basically, they've done absolutely everything to not rule him out of the World Cup yet officially, and now he's gone and taken to Instagram and said day 17. Does this mean that, as far as he is concerned, come France, come September, October, he is leading the buggers out for a title defense?
Whoa.
Well, are we heading for another Gary Teichmann 99 year? Are we? I think. There we go. Busted captain. We want to take him all the way. Sentimental there, because obviously Teichmann took us through that world record run. Bobby was in the wings. Don't know who's nipping. Is it with Faribi? Do you think Faribi starts?
Well, I think for me that's the biggest reason why I don't think it's the same situation, because I wouldn't say that. I mean, we've got good loose forwards, but I wouldn't say that we've got like this one player who's just like so good we can't leave out, and it would be like almost unfair to play him ahead of him. I mean, he has been playing some of his best rugby of his career over the last couple of years.
Yeah, but if you do an injury and you don't play, I mean, I'm never comfortable when these players get injured and have to ease their way back. And some players can have done it, but I don't. He's carried so much workload over the last couple of years. I just don't want to see Kolisi be forced in and not be at the level that he's been playing. That will be terrible. And if we do lose, it's how is he going to feel? This is a tricky one for Rassie to work and Jock to work through, I think.
Yeah, I think as professionals though, he wants to be there, right? I'm not going to read too much into his post, but I mean it is amazing that he's cycling at day 17, and then
exactly.
Doesn't seem to be much support there. So from that perspective, I really do think that he could be ready. He could be in a playable state. Whether it's a good idea for him on a personal level, remains to be seen. And I worry about him. I worry about all these guys. Like you said, when they come back and you're not quite sure where they're at.
Is there a date now? We don't have a date because there is still plenty of time, I guess. There is, if he is feeling good, we don't know how his body's feeling. I mean, if he gets 2 games in or 3 games in before the World Cup and then just eases through the pools, well, it's not exactly easy pool, but you know what I mean? Like he could be back to where we want him or expect him to be by quarterfinals if we're there.
Yeah, I think the biggest frustration is the lack is we haven't really been told exactly what needed to be happening. Look, obviously he didn't have to have an ACL, because that you'd know with
Yeah.
that kind of situation. So there were apparently a bit of meniscus issues and stuff like that, and they were very much looking for a non-surgical route. But I think a lot of the stories that came out about what he had to have and what surgery was to have were quite far from the truth. Somebody I know is got his sort of ear quite close to the ground was saying that a lot of the stories were quite far off the mark in regards to what he actually had to have done. So we don't really know exactly what he had done and with it, therefore, what the recovery time is. But I suppose it's at this stage, we're sitting in May, you've got June, July. So July Rugby Championship. If he can be on the field by August, it means he could get in 3 games before the World Cup.
Yeah. If he's feeling good and he's back on the field in August, then I think we're okay. I think it's going to be okay. And then maybe, he doesn't play 80 minutes or 70 minutes. Maybe he, manage him through it and then power run through the last games that we have to win if you want to win the World Cup again.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I don't want to put my finger on anything. I'm going to say I hope he gets back. I hope he goes so in the best of health. And the form, I think that C is one of those players who's shown himself. He can be in bad form domestically, and not to say that he is, but he can be in bad form domestically and still show up for the box. I really do believe that. I don't think he ever has a terrible game. He's not capable of that anymore. He's elevated himself to the level where when he puts in a 6 out of 10, we're sitting there going, oh, damn, that was a bad game for him. But the reality is that it's still half decent. We can guarantee that he's not going to give us a shocker. So from that perspective, I like to see him on the field. But yeah.
He's been incredible. I remember I moved to the UK 10 years ago, 2012. And I remember I just arrived. It was May. Stormers were playing the Bulls and Khaleesi was playing for the Stormers, and he played a blinder, a man of the match. And that was 10 years ago. And I was thinking back then, that was him at his peak. That's Khaleesi having a good game. And look where he's got to 10 years. He's had a remarkable career. He certainly exceeded my expectations.
Yeah. I think his last 2 years as we said, I think he's been a whole.
Well, actually, how did he even get better? He's better than the last World Cup, the form he was showing.
Yeah.
He's just been on this steady, nice, lovely incline, getting confident and building into the role and being backed. And he had the ability. Obviously, they were that game proved to me that he was a player. Like he showed it there. I can even remember that game distinctly. He was crashing through the gain line, making tackles like he's been playing now. And but he's got to that level and kept it there for the books the last 7 years. It's been really, really cool.
Yeah, well, let's hope that come the first game in September, which I think is against Scotland actually, so it's quite a big game that Seal will be leading us out. Because I think very importantly from a morale point of view, I think people you can't underestimate how important he is to the entire environment. And he just needs to be there. Yeah, and I think also a World Cup, when it comes to, for example, like the media presence, stuff like that, it's a very hostile environment. You're not going to a World Cup. Everyone's expecting you to do well. Majority of the overseas press will be writing us off saying that we can't win because I don't think we've ever gone to a World Cup and been given a chance of actually winning it. The South African public will demand nothing but the title. And he is so good at diffusing situations, at being very open, honest, and I think he handles that sort of side very well. And he also takes a lot of heat off the rest of the squad with the way he does conduct himself. So I think his presence there is going to be very vital. So even if he maybe isn't in his full fitness and he does eventually maybe even become a bench player, or even if he doesn't play as much as he'd like to, I think it's important as a personality to be in and around that squad. A bit like sort of Skulk Brits was in the last one, but he will actually be a player.
I think we're not medical experts, right? But I think if he's riding a bike and he's not in crutches or in a wheelchair, I think he's got a very good chance he's going to be playing. The only thing we have to potentially worry about is doing a mischief somewhere else while that compensates that injury when he's training, like what happened to Cade Volta, to lots of guys, right? When they overcompensate the injury, they bust the other limb. So hopefully he stays out of that trouble.
Yeah. Look, he's going to be there regardless in some capacity, whether it's advisory or not. Let's take it in the stride. Every week we'll be here, we'll be talking about it, and I'm sure Stevie will keep us updated. But yeah, let's hope for the best. I hope he doesn't do himself more injuries, because to be honest, I'm not entirely sure that from a longevity point of view that he has another World Cup in him. after this. Not to say he's not enough, but because we have so many options up and coming, at that point when the next World Cup comes around, he might be sort of out of his.
I'll put my hand up. I didn't see him. I didn't think he was actually really going to get to this World Cup. I thought he had his. I thought he peaked. Although he peaked at the World Cup, and he was going to be there maybe 2 years and hand it over to someone, reigns over to someone else, and he's playing the best. Some sort of, just like we said, some of the best games he's been playing his whole career.
Yeah.
What will be interesting for me is if he doesn't make the World Cup, whether he does call time on his Springbok career. I think a lot of people keep thinking that the World Cup was going to be a swan song, which is interesting because he's only 32 this year. So
so he was 22 in that game. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So, but it'll be interesting to see if he. I mean, you kind of feel if he goes to the World Cup. Let's say he goes to the World Cup and he wins it. That's quite a nice time to walk away, to be able to say, right, you know what? I had my 5 years as captain. I won 2 World Cups. I won the British and Irish Lions series. I'm going over to France anyway. I'm happy to step back. I'm going to go earn my sheets and go and be the face of Adidas and stuff. You guys crack on. If he doesn't make the World Cup, it'll be interesting to see if he then goes, no, actually, I need to give this another 2 years. I've still got things I want to achieve in this Springbok jersey.
I think what's holding back every Springbok, World Cups aside, is the fact that we underperform in rugby championships.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a big one. I think that in our hearts, we still miss that New Zealand rivalry. We don't have Super Rugby anymore. And we still believe that we can prove ourselves against England, we can prove ourselves against Ireland or any of those other top nations. But deep down, these guys want to play New Zealand, they want to play Australia, and they want to go out and show them that, we can beat literally everyone. And so I think that's a big motivator for a lot of the guys. Unfortunately, it's diluted this year, but obviously World Cup is a World Cup. But I think that regardless of whether he wins or not, I think he's going to give us a year or two more just to see if he can get those under his belt.
And the problem is, you give us a year or two more, you suddenly start edging up. I mean, I was just looking now, he's got 75 tests. So if he plays, for example, 3 tests before the World Cup and then plays 3 or 4 tests during the World Cup and he ends up playing 8 or 9 tests, he's suddenly sitting in that sort of 84, 85 mark. If he's now looking at next season going, listen, if I play like 9, 10 games next season, all of a sudden that sort of Springbok Centurion sort of mark comes into it, which very few people do. Even Etzebeth, I mean, it's incredible how quickly even Etzebeth and how young he is to have gotten there.
Look, he's a freak though. I mean, he's once in a lifetime kind of player.
Yeah.
Khaleesi started not even late, but maybe just a little bit later than he did. So we'll see. I'm looking at some comments here. Just something I wanted to touch on is Saku saying that I wish we could move youngsters in more fluidly. And I watched a couple of your videos, Steve, about that possible SA traveling squad for the World Cup. And I was looking at it and I was going, you know what? Why are we having such a discussion about who should be going to this World Cup? And it's because we've got so many informed youngsters but it's almost too late. It's like they were developed, like you said, probably we reach World Cups and we aim for it and we strive for it. And then the 2 years following a World Cup's kind of like a bit of a haze because Oaks are dropping out, Oaks are coming in. It's like not really all that precise. And then we get to like 2 years before the World Cup, and only then do we start going, okay, we actually start looking at some new blood. And then we've got a flipping Mani Libok sitting there with however many, I think he said like 68 minutes that he's got under his belt, which is really sad. I mean, I can't believe that we're sitting here having to basically take our old squad and then chuck in some new blood who have less than 10 caps. In 4 years.
Yeah. Look, I think this last 4 year period has been a very unique situation. Obviously, we lost out the entire 2020, so we went 2 years without playing a single test match. When we did come, we suddenly had a British and Irish Lions series on our door, so it was like, right, we've got to win this. And then all of a sudden, you're sitting there going, shit, we're actually 1 season away from a World Cup. Do we bin this season and bring in youngsters? Which is why they did name such a big squad. I mean, that was like a 48-man squad we announced last year, and we had that whole Wales test, stuff like that. Or do they sit there going, well, shit, if we want to win the World Cup, we have to start putting in the building blocks. When you think in 2019 was won by all what we had to do in 2018. That was when we sent guys to New Zealand and didn't send guys to New Zealand, and that whole thing to try and build up towards 2019. So it has been a very strange 4 year sort of cycle.
But we seem to be the only ones that have struggled with it.
But I think I think the British and Irish Lions series is probably what threw that all out. if we had a normal Ireland incoming series or a Scotland incoming series in 2021,
right,
I think you can go and say, right, well, yeah, the youngsters.
a bit more experimental.
Yeah.
Sure. Understood. Yes.
Wasn't this the World Cup we were actually aiming for, and we were supposed to win the World Cup bid, and this was the one that Khaleesi was going to hold up at home.
Yeah, it was.
And then we won. And then South Africa won last time, and
we got schneid by a couple of the big nations in terms of the hosting. So
yeah, no, thanks for that, Chris.
I'm gonna bite my tongue in case some of our French mates are watching.
No. But if you actually, like I was actually saying in terms of the hosting. So
yeah, no, thanks for that, Chris.
I'm gonna bite my tongue in case some of our French mates are watching.
No. But if you actually, like I was actually saying I'm actually fuming, and I'm fuming on several levels. At least 2027, the Cricket World Cup is. I'm in my prime at the moment. I am late 20s, in my prime, no hold back, currently single. I can go balls to the walls for a World Cup. I can just go and I can send it, and I can go and enjoy myself. By the time this World Cup's going to come back, I'm going to be like in my late 30s. I might have a kid or two running around. I can't just go and bin the family for like 6 weeks and go part of the box. And they've robbed me of this. This is bullshit.
No, I'm sorry. I lost everything you said after I'm in my prime.
Look at this, dude. I could be running out for the box this weekend.
I don't know what scares me. I obviously following the game. We all followed it, but we won 99, lost the quarterfinal and semi-final, and then won it, and then knocked out quarterfinal. I don't know. It's not easy to go back to back World Cups. New Zealand did it, but it's not. But I suppose this is South Africa's best opportunity to go. Well, mind you, 2011 potentially we could have won the World Cup with that side. We went sort of refs there.
Yeah.
Famous ball, but argue me strength-wise, they're probably similar levels. But I know there's big hype for the Boks, but geez, man, we don't have to go through Ireland, Scotland, France, New Zealand, maybe Ireland again, one of them again. It's going to be hard.
Look, the nice thing is, do you think that if we were to win this cup, we'd finally actually get the credit for winning this World Cup, as opposed to every single time we win a World Cup, there's an excuse. Every single time. Oh, but this, New Zealand had few points in '95, and England played their final in the semi-final, and all this crap. If we win this year's World Cup, I don't want to hear anything.
Yeah, but also we pick up Samoa and Fiji and Japan's along the way as well, and we get luck in the draws. If we can go bam bam, France, Ireland, New Zealand, France, bam, win the world, then yeah, that will be awesome. That will feel really lacquer.
Well, we'll see. But I'd actually just like to segue that into this Leinster discussion. You talked about obviously England, their excuse last time having played their final before their final. Right, and well, it's not exactly the same, but I'm shocked at this Leinster performance. I'm really shook. I mean, I think we all premeditated it, sort of. It's just like Leinster.
Well, we did say they should have played their full. They should have played their full strength. They disrespected Munster in the competition.
A week ago, they hadn't named their side, and we all said, we all said they should be playing their three games in a row. We said we should be playing their 3. Listen to us.
Come on,
every game like a final. You're at that stage. You work so hard to get there. You can give 3 weeks of your life to just give it everything. Give it horns and rest afterwards.
Yeah, but we also, I think a lot have credit to go to Munster. They are actually the form side. I mean, they've beaten.
They peaked at the right time.
Sharks, they beat Stormers. They peaked, and exactly, and they are played. They were. I could see I was on Leinster killed the bank balance last week. But it's one of those games within 10 minutes, like the Ulster Connacht game the week before. You can see what teams came out the sheds. I mean, which hasn't, and Leinster just couldn't get going, and then so that try, which was brushed the fingernail or something, which they scored in the first half. I think that was a big momentum shifter as well. They just couldn't get back into it, and Munster were hungry.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's the fault they deserved. I don't know if they did rest on their laurel. Well, look, it was both ways. One team like Reds, like the Chiefs and the Reds as well. Reds taking Chiefs unbeaten record. Chiefs clearly thought they just had to rock up and win, and Reds didn't leave anything out there. And same thing with Munster and Leinster.
No, I don't think it's a stretch to say disrespect is the correct word to have used.
Yeah, that's just a harsh word. It's harsh.
No, it is harsh, but it's true.
Yeah.
And I don't actually really care what the Irish fans are saying. Like, oh well, how could we have predicted this? It's just good game management. I think it's absolute rubbish. These are top level athletes who have played one of the longest seasons of domestic rugby that's ever been. Right, I think it is actually in terms of the length of games and how many fixtures they have. And you go, look, we've got everything available to you as an athlete to perform for as long as you need to perform. Now, I'm not blaming the players here because it's not their call at the end of the day. But frankly, as a player, I would be sitting up there and I'd be saying, hell no, don't try bench me. I will play all 3 games. I will give you all of that. And because I think that was I can't actually wrap my head around it.
So yeah, for me, let's also backtrack. Leinster, they haven't been in the final. They didn't win the final. They went in the URC final last year. They played the Rainbow Cup. With the one that was Benetton won the Rainbow Cup.
Yeah, Benetton won.
Did they play in it?
They would have. I'm pretty sure they would have.
So we've been banging. All we heard is Leinster, the greatest team in history. The Irish are going to win everything and win the World Cup. What if they haven't actually won anything? If they don't. Because for me, what I'm saying is this team for me feels like it should have had 2 or 3 trophies in the bag already. And yeah, you got an opportunity to beat Munster, have a home final, and then go into European to get that silverware. What if they don't win on Saturday? They're 3 years. This mighty Leinster team with 3 years with no trophies. I'm right with the trophies. I'm trying to rack my brain.
That's the Rainbow Cup.
Well.
Yeah, Rainbow. Yeah, so Rainbow Cup. Benetton finished top of the log. Remember, it was the top of the log and then straight to a final. Leinster finished 4th that year, and then obviously Bulls topped the South African table, and then so we went over. But yeah, then they didn't win.
If I was a Leinster player now, I would feel hollow. I have a little hole in me thinking I've underachieved in my Leinster career so far, and they need to get it right. Obviously, Jacques Nienaber was going to come save the day. I forgot about that, so they'll be fine for the next 4 years.
Well, for example, somebody like your young players, for example, they some of them would have never won the Pro 14 because the last time they won it was 2020. It says 2021, but I'm a bit confused about that. Yes, there was the Pro 14 in 2021. Remember, there was that. There's like a weird competition, that whole sort of Pro 14 back then. I actually can't remember the entire sort of format back then. But put it this way,
did it also stop? Yeah, I can't remember. Everything stopped like just before the end of those seasons. Well, Super Rugby just kicked off. What state was that? They must have just cancelled that one, right?
Yeah, it was. 2021. They had no South African teams, if I remember correctly.
They went into the Rainbow Cup at like the end of the
COVID during like this sort of period now. Stuff was a disaster back then. But they haven't won the URC, and as we just said, I think I'd be very interested to know what the players feel like. Like you're a Caelan Doris, you're a Ross Byrne, for example.
But that's what I mean.
You're sitting there, Hugo Keenan. You're sitting there going, like, if I had played, would we have won? And for me, I would have gone full strength semi-final, full strength final, and if you at the end of the day back yourselves to at least give yourselves 2 good performances, do enough to beat La Rochelle this weekend, and if you run out of if the tank runs out next weekend and you don't go all the way, fine. You're sitting with the Champions Cup in the bank already.
I just think we don't give any chances like this to come along, and we've got. I take the Premier League as an example. Now, I'm sorry for bringing in another sport into this again, but you've got City and Arsenal right behind them. They are fielding full strength sides to ensure that they close out this Premier League. At the same time, they try to chase the Champions League. These guys are playing literally days apart for both of those competitions, and for the most part, they're fielding full strength teams because they need their very best on the field. And the Oaks will rest afterwards, and they will rest happy, knowing that. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me.
But we also spoke. I mean, firstly, Munster. I thought Munster had done their job. They played some games, I thought they were at the last hurdle, and I said that, and then we said this Leinster so-called second, third team, if it played to its potential, really should have won the game. They were just so awful, and that's the shocker. Like, how did they not arrive? Like, I mean, they did get hammered by the Bulls, but that's a different game, different situation.
Yeah.
You would have thought they would have taken. But those Irish derbies, I've always said they're hard, they're tough. Those guys get up. Those Irish guys get up for those games.
So as a first team player, right, you are sitting there, you've got an entire season, and you, for the most part, with the second team have played some games and third teams have played some, but as a first team, you earn the right to be in that semi-final. Right?
Yeah.
Why the hell would you step back? Is what I'm saying. As from a seniority point of view, you step up and you go.
I agree. You would want to. You all players. You want to be in those games. You want to be at home in a semi-final in a big comp, playing that game, making
that you've earned.
But think about it. I mean, I know there's that Irish Grand Slam teams with Agara and so on. They won the Grand Slam, touted to do well in World Cups. But that Leinster team was winning. Okay, it was arguably the Pro Tour wasn't as strong as the URC. Ireland didn't do anything in the World Cups. If Ireland don't win the World Cup, what is this crop of players who are supposedly the vintage best of all time? Are they going to be feeling if they don't at least get? For me, this Leinster team needs to have 2 European Cups in the bag before this generation starts calling it quits. So they better bloody win on Saturday.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, it's high risk, high reward, I suppose, because if they win on Saturday, then majority of the supporters go, cool. Yeah, we should have had a double at the end of the day, but it's difficult not to be happy about at being European champions. But if they lose,
because they must believe they're the best team as well, right? You would think when you're in those type of environments, you feel like you're the best. But La Rochelle have been in the last 3 finals and won the last one. La Rochelle's the best team in Europe, not Leinster.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out in 48 hours. We will know. But yeah, it's interesting though, just to sort of see exactly how that's all going to sort of pan out, and very interesting to see what the reaction and stuff's going to be. But speaking of Europe, Challenge Cup tomorrow, Cheslin Colby for me is sort of the big reason that I'm very excited. Although I'm pretty torn because I'd love to see Cheslin Colby add to his ridiculous record, but at the same time, I'd really like to see Glasgow win because I think they're a really cool side. They were basically my second team. I watched them the first game of the URC. I think they actually played. I remember watching them, and that day
they lost to Bennett in the first day, didn't they? I'm pretty sure it was Franco's first game.
Oh yeah, this season, yeah. I'm saying, but the first URC game ever. I think it was last year. I watched Glasgow play, and that game I was like, yeah, these guys are my second team. So I'd really like to see them win.
For me, they got a nice balanced squad. I like their squad. They got Grant in the forwards. They got some skill in the backs. Half Scottish, well coached. Nice little vibe going there.
It wouldn't be a Scottish play.
Half Scottish.
Yeah, half Scottish, but a couple of Scots around there. The ironic thing is they've got a South African. Well, technically he did play Scotland under international, but Nathan McBeth coming from South Africa, back there, who probably is Scottish. But this is the reason that we all want Cheslin Colby to win. Can we just take a look at this record? These are his honours. 2014 Currie Cup winner. At Toulouse, Heineken Champions Cup in 2021. Top 14 French League 2019-2021. South Africa, Rugby Championship winner. World Cup winner.
Yes, what a boy, G.
British and Irish Lions Tour South Africa winner. He was a men's 15th player of the year nominee. And to add to that, he also has an Olympic bronze medal.
Cuck player, eh?
Just to throw that a little bit of. He also had a decent sevens.
But is he the most decorated now? Because I know hasn't Matt one of them
wasn't it Scott Berger who
really? He won jack shit with Stormers.
Are we talking about South African players or are we talking about in general?
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry for swearing as well. Sorry, Spanish. But he won for Saracens a bit. I suppose that Boxside won couple Tri Nations. Did he win a World Cup? Yeah, won the World Cup.
Are we talking about most decorated player?
Most decorated South African playing.
So Habana must be up there.
Yeah.
I think it's a banner. Bucky's Matfield, that Bulls trio, that solid Bulls team into the that.
It's basically those that were in the
couple
Bulls
years.
team that then went overseas because they then went and joined some pretty good.
Yeah, and then they went to Toulon.
Yeah.
I think it's Bucky's. Bucky's won all the Bulls, all the book stuff, and then all the French stuff. I think it was Bucky's. I think Bucky's is the most decorated.
Yeah, but none of them would have had sevens. So that's what I'm saying. Chesney needs to do a year at Crusaders, and then he needs to do a year at Saracens, grab a Premiership, a Super Rugby. Probably needs to go play in the Olympics next year and try to get an Olympic gold.
Just imagine being Bucky's Botha and the most decorated player, South African player ever. You don't even know it, and all of your trophies is used as beer mugs.
This, by the way, I'm looking at it here. His record is unreal. Vodacom Cup. Do you remember Bucky's Botha? Do you remember the good old Vodacom Cup?
Yes.
The Vodacom Cup 2001. 4 Curry Cups. 1 was drawn, so a bit of an asterisk there. Super Rugby 3 titles. 3 Champions Cups. Top 14. That's just his club career.
Yes, sure.
And then a World Cup, 2 Tri-Nations, a British and Irish Lions Series win as well. Not to mention 45 red cards, a couple of headbats, and more stitches than we can count.
I enjoyed some of the bits that Matfield did in that podcast the other day of the Rugby Pass when he was telling the story about the little young buckies come into the practice at Falcons in his car and boombox go in, and he was like skinny as a rake and full of attitude, and then he got him right. He said he didn't want to play with this oak, but then obviously they formed that formidable partnership.
Stevie, I wanted to ask you a question. What was the situation with that celebration video? I found out a bit the reaction.
Yo, it was weird, eh?
Check the Stormers celebrating because Leinster lost.
Actually,
come
to be fair, I quite like anything that's
huge.
going to create a bit of. I did enjoy the Joseph Weber like holding his I think it's his daughter or his son, shouting, "We're gonna f them up! We're gonna f them up!" Like,
look, I just don't understand it. This is a competitive environment.
Every team we know would have said if a change room there was no camera,
Yeah.
every single sports team would have jumped up and down and said, "Yeah, we're not going to fucking Leinster for a final."
well, it's two things. First of all, you're not playing against what is one of the 2 best teams in the world. Like, let's take it off the table. They effed it up. Nobody wants to play against Leicester. La Rochelle probably would have, might even almost prefer to play Toulouse on Saturday than play Leinster potentially. So nobody wants to play Leinster. Second of all, traveling has been the biggest thing in the URC. People don't travel well. So it's a two-edged sword. First of all, you're not playing against the best team that were undefeated the entire tournament bar 1 mishap. And second of all, you now got a home final. You've got to bring Munster over to your shitty pitch, which is breaking up. But you get to have 55,000 Cape Townians, although apparently it's got quite a big Munster thing coming out. But I mean, who wouldn't celebrate having a home URC final?
Okay. I mean, I'm a Stormers fan, so obviously I was ecstatic, and any of the players would be buzzing. And I actually thought back to sometimes when you've seen change rooms like football when they get the right results, a couple high fives, smiles, buzzing. Stormers are flipping raving. They were like freaking in Tomorrowland. Like it was.
I also think they were pretty well oiled. I mean, they just walked off an 80-minute game, which was pretty high intensity. All been on the lagers now for 2 hours. Like, I don't think they're going to be sitting there going, "Oh, that's really cool, chaps." Like, home final, good, congratulations, handshakes all around. I mean, the brandy was definitely flowing that night.
It was a nightclub in there.
I think the reaction, like you said, was probably more for the fact that it was a home game than it was an away game, man.
Yes.
Even if it wasn't, and it was a neutral ground for the final, and Leinster had lost, let them go back wild because, I mean, like that's actually Leinster should take a compliment. They should be going,
it was a massive. It's huge for Stormers, man. Barring that result, which I'm pretty sure Stormers are going to put it right. It's a fortress. Yeah, everything. You got 50,000 home fans. You don't have to schlep 3 days in. Nah, we're perfect. Buzzing. The Oaks are buzzing.
And for me, it creates like a revenge story for Munster. So now Munster, I mean, you know that Munster, just before they walk out, they're going to put that on the TV and be like, "Yeah, this was them celebrating because they thought they're going to walk over us, go and prove a point." Like, it's about the theatre. It's about us having stories and grudges. And I want to see Peter O'Mahony, you know, smiling to the cameras when he goes over, saying, "Celebrate that." Oh, you know, we want moments like this. It's so boring. You can't just, you know, cleanse the game of emotion. It's this stuff that makes it so entertaining.
Can I tell you that Stormers backline in that game was flipping unreal. My God. And obviously,
On the weekend.
I can't play money as a
The backline player, honorary backline player, yeah, with the number 7 on the jersey, yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, they looked so good.
I don't know. Are we going back to that game? But I was also very pleasantly surprised with Connacht. They came to play. Well, kudos to them. We said they could. I thought they would live with them 60 minutes and it'll be like 18-15, but they lived with them and got it to like 30 all, close to 30 all, and then it was a great game.
And I'll tell you what, to be honest, Connacht rocked up, and Stormers actually looked shell-shocked in that first sort of 10 minutes.
Yeah,
they scored that try. I think Stormers went, shit, guys, we didn't expect this.
I appreciate that. They came with a surprise. They didn't come with their usual game plan, which that served them well previously. Like, I know I was trying to remember they did lose in that Donny Craven. But yeah, I thought the conditions, if they would slow down, they would haul Stormers into a dogfight, but they hauled Stormers into a ding-dong battle. Like, the thing is, but that's the guys are saying, the Irish commentary I get, you know, Stormers they also allowed Stormers to play, and you shouldn't actually be doing that either. That's why Stormers went on to still score 40 points, because you allowed them to play.
Yeah.
They probably should have brought them into a dogfight, but pretty impressive that they actually went for it. It was a great game to watch, you know.
Yeah, look, two entertaining semi-finals. I think the URC stocks are currently higher than ever. I see Stephen Jones from the Times was talking about he's got a bet on that the URC is dead in 3 years. But this is also the same guy that published an article about how bad the London Sevens were a week before the London Sevens was even about to kick off. So we won't be delving into one of the worst rugby journalists out there.
But it's nice for me as a Stormers fan, obviously.
We get it. Join the final. Congratulations. You're having a good time. Nobody cares, Chris.
Yeah, but the thing is,
we're about to win.
I don't panic with the Stormers side. That's my point. It's not like, let's be honest. If Sharks go down 15 points, you're bloody worried, right? You're like, oh shit.
Lions do it. I'm like, oh cool, only 15 points.
But I haven't. This Stormers side so solid. They're so they're in their work at the moment. Like, they're always in the game. Their defense is good enough. It's good. But the box form is crucial, right? And he's with firing again. It's good.
Yeah. Right.
Where we watching final this weekend? Yeah.
Which final? Well, you know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be here up in the lights.
Guess I'm on my.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we've got Rion's on Challenge Cup duty tomorrow night, so we could get a couple of lagers on the Challenge Cup. Rion, we appreciate your work, Chief. Good luck for tomorrow night, and we'll be out working hard on.
They're both cracking finals.
Yeah,
so I enjoyed Toulon. I haven't watched the Challenge Cup final in ages. I'm going to watch it tomorrow night. Because I also like Leicester.
And a nice Prem final coming up as well. So it's a pretty cool ends to the season. Right, now before we go any further, because we are going to forget, Chris, you've got to make us some money this weekend. Well, we've got to pay for the beers we're gonna drink tomorrow.
I've got my account open. I'm doing exactly what you told me.
We didn't lose last week, boys. We didn't lose. So let's calm down. Obviously we had the loser weekend last week, and I'm just gonna bring it up so I can't see it on the screen that you got there, Stevie. So I just put in the winning bets. We took 4, so I was quite confident on the 4 over 29, which arrived, and the treble came in quite stress-free as well, which was nice. And then if you guys remember, there was the long shot 1 to 12 treble, but that blew out in the first leg. That was a couple of units, and then I had the lean on the Chiefs, and like we said, the Chiefs just didn't arrive. So that's why it was a lean, because I wasn't overconfident on it. But if Chiefs brought their form, they would have sorted that out. But Reds also arrived. This week, there's actually, to be honest, there were a lot of options, and also again, some of my favorite markets aren't out. But what I've pulled together for this week is a double and a treble, and I've just put some leans in as well in case anyone's interested. But the first game is tomorrow, Pacifica versus Crusaders in Mount Smart in Auckland. Lots of rain around. I've seen. I get so nervous trying to predict New Zealand weather. It screwed me over a lot on some when working out some bets. You won't see a sun in the report, and then it comes to kickoff and there's not a cloud in sight, and vice versa. So New Zealand weather's tricky. You need to possibly wait, but it looks like solid rain. And also, Saders they don't have Mwanga, Havili playing, which are they're quite important. They don't seem to get much cohesion when Burke and McLeod are playing. Good players, but they just don't play enough, and they just don't seem to gel. They play them a lot away, and the Crusaders are great at home. They'll win the game probably, but they seem to be very sticky away. So if there's a bit of weather around, I think Pacifica are going to be up for it. They took Crusaders, if you can remember, they took them close. I think they were leading at halftime when they played them in Crusaders. Took them close. But I think 71 points is too much. I think it's just too much for the game. So under 71, Reds versus Blues, sunny skies in Brisbane. This game goes well over close to 60 points often. So 51 points is solid, good conditions, point scoring teams and dodgy defenses again. And then the treble final, beginning of the week, I was quite confident on Toulon. But then I got my goggles back on and thought it through again, and I'm thinking now actually it's going to be quite a close game. I think they're very equally balanced side. So 15 points to Glasgow is a lot of points, so we'll take the points. La Rochelle as well. They're hard to beat. Finals day, they're going to be difficult to beat. Even this Leinster side, then I don't perceive Leinster to just run away with this game. La Rochelle aren't going to allow that to happen. So we'll take 17.5 points there. And Rebels versus Highlanders is going to be an absolute ding-dong battle. I was possibly thinking of the overs points here as well. But the Rebels are very much in this game and probably keep it tight. If I'm going to throw it out now, the one I'm most worried about potentially is the Rebels, because I feel the Highlanders are due a big game, and I'm worried that this might be the game. But we'll see. And I've got some leans. Like I said, I shifted from Toulon -6 to Glasgow +6. I like it. I think Glasgow, they lost that quarterfinal. They rested. I think both teams are going to be highly motivated. Both want this badly. It's going to be a cracker, as we said. 6 points is too much for either side. Toulon are 6 points favourites, but I think Glasgow are well in it. And I'd say the overs, yeah. Tars, these Samoan sides away to even the Australian teams, even more so. Australian loads of points in the games. Fiji just don't like to tackle when they travel. Tars are scoring points at will quite easily. So over 60 lean there. So what I was wanting to say is, because we use these are all on BetCoza, of course. I would like the Tars if there was available. I would be on a unit play. It would actually be probably Tars points, and I like force points, but I don't know what the lines are, and they're probably going to be quite high, probably around 40, 42, 40, somewhere around there for the Tars, which is high, but I'm anticipating Tars score 50 plus anyway. And Brumbies, they're not that compact, hard team to break down anymore. They shifted 30 points at home. Force can shift 30 points past them at home. They've got good home form. So I would have taken Force and Tars points. So have a look there. I haven't put it here because the markets weren't out. But I'm pretty confident that these are both, they're going to arrive. They're going to arrive and we're going to march on. Oh, the record 9-6 plus 9.76 is the highest we've got to. So we did lose a bit last week, but 9.76 profit is the highest total we've been. So we move forward.
Yeah, good work, boy.
Yeah, love your work. Right, and as always, let's throw a couple of extra tips out on Twitter at the Code Tips.
Yep.
So a couple of different markets and stuff like that. So if you do have access to different markets and stuff like that, go and check Chris out there. I want to end off with a little bit of drama. Andrew Porter has been involved in a press conference earlier, and he said that it's all about getting that 5th star on the jersey, talking about the Champions Cup. He says you don't put the stars from Pro 12s and URC and Pro 14s on your jersey.
Really? Tell the rugby players that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a hell of a thing to just throw out there. So I see somebody on Twitter was saying that, for their sake, they really hope the Stormers go and put a star on their jersey next week when they run out of the URC.
So does that mean Man City give back their 3 Prem titles for the Champions League this year, right? We could just give those back.
Yeah, they don't count. It's just the Champions League that counts.
I mean,
We won't go. We won't.
just imagine having a competition called the Champions Cup and you're not actually playing champions from all over the world, at least from tier 1 nations. So, the Crusaders are sitting there going, like, you haven't given us a chance to play you, so what the hell?
Yeah, that Club World Cup. I'm still waiting for the Club World Cup. Where all the big teams can go play the Club World Cup, and the Lions will probably end up playing some second tier 1. They'll hold them like Congo or like Uruguay or something like that to play against like the Simbas and stuff. But yeah, it will be fun. It will be fun. Right, and then just so we know, there is a bit of Curry Cup action this weekend. Actually, some very cool Curry Cup action this weekend. Cheetahs versus the Sharks, which is a 1 versus 3 clash. Western Province versus Pumas tomorrow. That is a 2 versus 4 clash. So all 4 teams within the top 4 all playing against each other. And Yokosuka Derby at 3 o'clock, Lions versus the Bulls. Those teams should be out tomorrow. It should be very interesting. A couple of signings, by the way, this week from the Sharks, signing Diego Apollos, George Kinnear, and Sia Masuku. All pretty good signings. Much better signings for me than I think what they have been doing in the past. I think George Kinnear obviously came back to the Cheers from France, very highly rated. Sia Masuku, I think, is a nice fit for at 10. And we talked about the fact there wasn't too much centre depth, especially us centre, for example. I think Diego Apollos has been in pretty scintillating form for the Pumas, so I think that's a pretty good signing as well. Right, chaps. Yeah, that pretty much brings it to an end. We're gonna run and get ready for load shedding. Myself and Reza in 8 minutes time.
Did we? Are we doing predictions for the final or what?
Yeah. So let's finish off with predictions for Challenge Cup and predictions for Champions Cup final. So I'll tell you what. For once, I'll be bold and I'll go first. Champions Cup, I'm gonna go Leinster by 5. Challenge Cup, I'm gonna go Glasgow by 3. Nice little bit of drama.
You actually took mine right out of my mouth, Stevie.
Well, then at least I know that I'm not completely crazy. At least
I'm gonna increase the margins a little bit there. I think Leinster by 9.
Leinster by 9.
Okay, I can back that up. I think Glasgow is going to be tight. So it's going to be 2 3-point game for Toulon or Glasgow. I think Leinster are going to do the business.
I'm gonna say my head says Leinster, but I'm gonna throw out I'm suspecting a big upset here. I think their heads aren't in the right space, so I think if there is,
I'd like to see La Rochelle win. To be honest, I'd love to see La Rochelle win.
Yeah, me
if
too.
Leinster had won this past weekend, then I would have said 100%, no question in my mind. But I think that there's going to be some internal doubt there. And maybe some mistakes made. So.
No, I'll differ with you there. I think they're going to invest everything into this game. They got the home advantage this time, and I think another season playing against the South African teams have put that level of physicality a bit higher that they lacked in last year's final. I think they'll match La Rochelle much better there at home. And the motivation will be there. It's by 9.
Look, I think it's more wishful thinking. I have said before.
I love La Rochelle. I love Roddy Magara. I love La Rochelle. I love our ciphers in there.
I respect this Leinster side immensely, but flip, that would be a nice one to see. I'm not going to lie to you.
I really want to go to a home Toulouse or La Rochelle European match someday. I must get that on the bucket list. It looks amazing.
Right, well, keep winning the bets, keep winning the bets, keep getting over the bacon, and there we go. You can pay for a young trip over to go make that happen.
But they've got some crazy ass record, La Rochelle, right? I think they've had a sellout last 3 years, without doubt, every game.
For me, I didn't realize just how big it was until they had their bus parade after the game, and I went going, okay.
And do you remember COVID? You could hear the crowd outside the stadium.
Yeah. No, it was mental. So from that perspective, it'll be very cool to see them go all the way. But next week we'll be talking about who the champions of Europe are, and we'll be talking about can the Stormers bring it home? Can they go back-to-back URC champions? Will John Dobson become one of the most revered coaches around, I suppose, if you can guide them to 2 back-to-back URCs. We would have thought. But yeah, thank you everybody who did jump in and for all the comments, stuff like that. I'm sure we didn't get to all of them. But as always, this will be available on all your favorite podcasting sites for a listen back if you're just jumping in now. Whilst you can just rewatch it on YouTube. We will be live over the weekend. Quite a few games lined up. Champions Cup, Challenge Cup finals, as well as Bulls versus the Lions. We will be covering. No Formula 1 this weekend. If you are a Formula 1 fan, and you will know that Imola has been cancelled due to rain, so we will not be seeing Mark tomorrow. Taking you through all of that. So that's a bit frustrating, but we'll have to just focus on the rugby to keep us going.
Steve, what's this I hear about a big drop on your personal channel coming tomorrow, huh? Do I get to watch something fun?
You tell you what, if you're looking for an early weekend laugh, tomorrow my first golf video is coming out on the CDP channel. You were there. We're doing an attempt to break 45 on a 9 session at the moment, which people are sort of very dismissive, but we're talking about a genuine 45. Everybody's just like, oh, I break 45 all the time, but yes, you're picking up after you go double 2 over, you know. So it has to be a genuine 45 for all those that are already sort of starting to throw slander my way.
45 was also my goal in my golf days with the golden number.
Yeah, so that's the plan tomorrow.
46 was ruined the day.
Yeah, well, that's what we're
Go
trying
watch Stevie P in his prime.
Yeah, there we go. As you said, hey, listen, hit bombs, take W's. That's the plan. So yeah, that's gonna hit tomorrow on the CP channel as well.
Stevie in his prime, smashing golf balls, signing contracts. Life's good.
Taking names.
Life's good.
There we go. Right, people, thank you very much, and we will see you guys next week. Smash like on the video, subscribe, and yeah, thanks, chaps, and see you next time.
Cheers.
Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. But today's guide on how to watch the Champions Cup final live. Leinster versus La Rochelle at the Aviva Stadium. It should be an absolutely epic encounter. The question is, did Leinster and La Rochelle gamble last weekend to play weekend teams? La Rochelle playing in a league game, so far less consequences. But for Leinster, they crashed out of the URC because they are so focused on this game. Now, is it worth the gamble? We're going to find out. We will be live for the game as well, so do come and join us. But in terms of watching all the action, you can watch it on several different free-to-air broadcasters, which means it's easier than ever to watch the action with a VPN if you're outside these territories. Before we tell you exactly how to do it, please do smash the like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so it is being shown on RTE, it's being shown on ITV, and it's being shown on France TV, which means you've got 3 different options. You have to be in either the UK or France to access them. If you're outside the UK or France, you will still be able to access them, but with a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, which looks something like that. Link in the description. Basically, what it'll do is it'll geolocate your device to make it seem as if you are in a different country. In this case, we can put ourselves in the UK. And as a result, you're then going to be able to watch ITV for free. And all you have to do is register. You don't have to do any credit card details, whatever. Connect to a UK server, and you can watch. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to those 3 little dots on the right-hand side. You're going to it'll open up all the various locations. You're going to go to the UK. Now, we're currently not connected, which means that when you go to ITV, it says that due to our broadcast content license, you can only watch ITV in the UK. Cool. So we're then going to go back to our VPN, and we're going to turn it on. It's going to connect. When it goes green, it means you are connected. By the way, in terms of ExpressVPN, I recommend getting the 12-month subscription. You get 3 months free, and you'll be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free as well. So we're now connected to a UK server, as we saw, and now we're going to click on Watch Live. And unfortunately, the screen capture itself won't show the action, but you'll be able to hear that it is playing. Obviously, I can see it on my side, but it's just a screen capture software issue.
So this is it here. So basically,
and there we go. You can hear it going on. So I can pause it. I can play it. So it is currently, as I said, the screen capture software doesn't work, but it is currently going off in the background there. I'll just mute it, and it's as easy as that. And as I said, you'll be able to watch all the action on Saturday night via this method. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. But apart from that, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon. All right. Are we ready? Final time, which means that these teams are playing for what? You might ask this. That is what they are playing for. The Champions Cup final is just minutes away. Leinster, La Rochelle in Dublin, a packed out Aviva Stadium. I'm seeing a lot of yellow in there as well. Should be an absolutely epic encounter, and we're in for it, aren't we? We are absolutely in for it. Welcome, people, to Forever Sports, and get ready for what is set to be potentially the game of the season. It is the game we've all been waiting for with regards to the Champions Cup. The best in Europe will be crowned tonight. Gregory Aldrich, James Ryan getting ready to lead out their teams. It is the blue of Leinster versus the yellow of La Rochelle. We're going to go through the teams, and powerful teams. You know, you look at the two teams, and there's no doubt that these are the two best teams in Europe and URC that are going to be taking onto the field, and this should be an absolute. I mean, I think, as I said, bar test match rugby, I don't think we get matches which are hopefully will be bigger than this. Should be an absolute cracker. Shall we have a look at some of the teams? By the way, we've got a vote. Got a poll running in the comments, and I'd like you guys to go and vote on who you think is going to win. Very, very close at the moment. So it'll be very interesting to see who edges that. We're going to end at about 10 minutes into the game. But in terms of, before we start doing that, let's go look at the teams, shall we? Right, Leinster, Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, Tyke Furlong, the all-Irish front row do start. Ross Maloney and James Ryan in the second row. Caelan Doris in number 6. Josh van der Fleer in the 7. Jack Conan in the number 8. One of the few players who were involved in that chop loss to Munster last weekend, as was Josh van der Fleer. Davison Gibson Park does return, as Ross Byrne. And in the halfback period, James Lowe has recovered from a calf injury and does start. Emily O'Brien on the other wing. Hugo Keenan at fullback. In the centres, Robbie Henshaw, Gary Ringrose. Two world-class centres. Off the bench, Ronan Kelleher, Kian Healy, Michael Alatoa, Jason Jenkins, the South African, Ryan Bart, Luke McGrath, Kieran Frawley, Charlie Ingatai. And then for La Rochelle, it is Reda Wadi, Pierre Bourget, Une Antonio, Romain Sazi, Will Skelton, the big lock, Paul Bodinet, Levani Bottia, Gregory Aldred, the captain, Tawira Curl-Barlow at 9, Anton Hastaway at 10, Raymond Roulet, Dylan Lates, the two South Africans in the wings, Bryce Julian at full-back, Jonathan Dante, and Ulapano Siateni in the centres there, off the bench, Quinton Lispiak, Joel Sclavi, George Henry Colombe, Thomas Lebalt, Remy Bordeaux, Ultan Delane, Thomas Bjorn, and Jules Favre. Right, Leinster left to right, La Rochelle receiving kickoff. Are we ready for what is going to be 80 minutes of non-stop action over in Ireland? As I said, if you're looking to watch the game, please check out the description. We do have a guide, but we are underway. Rosberg going very deep from the kickoff, and pretty good take, and a decent clearance there as well from Bryce Julian. So Leinster with an early line, and I think expect Leinster to play quite a high pace, try and really sort of have a go at these big La Rochelle forwards, try and get them sweating, try and get them moving, and hope that they can sort of run them off their feet. I think will be the thought. They go short though, and Jack Conan is straight through. Jack Conan, that is the brief start. Dan Steers over. We're not even 40 seconds in. That is absolutely incredible from Leinster. Goodness me. Hello. Well, you talk about having a good start. Starts do not get any better than that. That is absolutely ridiculous from Leinster. Set move, bang. Perfect timing. Draws in Raymond Roulet. Gets the offload to Dan Sheehan. He goes over. That is the perfect start. Well, I tell you what, I don't think too many people would have had money on Leinster having scored in the first 40 seconds of the game. And now all of a sudden, Ross Byrne is going to have an opportunity to add an extra 2 points. We're not even 2 minutes into the game. That is mental. I haven't even settled in yet. I haven't even had a chance to have some water. I haven't even really sort of settled into the game. And bang. Bang, bang, bang. The hosts are ahead. Yep, no issue there from Ross Byrne. He adds the extras, and Leinster's dream start just got a bit better. Who guessed that one? Who would have predicted that, people? Goodness me, that's a hell of a start. And hopefully that is just a sign of what is to come. Right, deep to start this time. Jack Conan underneath the ball. And it's a really good carry. Jack Conan surging through a couple of tackles into the midfield. Jamison Gibson Park, look at a quick ball. Wants to go down the left-hand side. Gives it to James Lowe. James Lowe drops onto that big left boot of his. Bryce Gill underneath it. Now he's going to have to try and breathe the left boot, try and find a bit of relief for La Rochelle. Does find touch. And yeah, as expected, a very, very high-paced start here for Leinster. But look at the physicality there from Jack Conan. Tell you what, sort of found his way onto the bench all of a sudden for Ireland. Was a sure starter in the last few years, but has struggled to really nail down a spot with the form of your Josh van der Vliers, your Caelan Doris, your Peter O'Mahony. But this is, I mean, he's had a brilliant start today. And again, they're going to go Jack Conan, Josh van der Vliers coming away with it, firing it to Gibson Park. He goes back to James Lowe, chipping it over the top. 50-22, is it on? It is on. That is inch perfect as well. Look what it means to him. He loves it. He loves playing to the crowd, doesn't he, James Lowe? Right, and all of a sudden, Leinster have got a 5-meter line out. They're 7-0 up. It's not even 5 minutes. Sheep is me. And then La Rochelle just shell-shocked. Andrew Porter popping up there. That's got a bit haywire. And the ball's been kicked ahead. I think it's by... But taking it out the ball is the call. I think it's a penalty, actually. Jaco Paper giving it to Leinster from the looks of it. Jack Conan's a good take. And then Andrew Porter popping it up. That's a knock-on coming. Yeah, so it'll be a scrum. Yeah, should be a scrum for Leinster. So the first scrum of the day. The battle to watch, probably Andrew Porter versus Unai Antonio. Pack weights, La Rochelle, 27 kgs heavier, eh? 27 kgs heavier. All right, Jamison Gibson Park with ball in hand. We know how lethal he can be. Pretty solid stuff. They're not too much. Jamison Gibson Park. To Low. Low going strong. Going hard to the tackle. Quick ball here. One from Gibson Park. Caelan Doris. His first carry of the day. Maloney hit hard in the tackle though. Good work there. Oh, a bit of space for Hugo Keenan. Fired out to Rossburn. Rossburn! And Jimmy O'Brien in the corner. Bang, bang. La Rochelle nowhere. Leinster on fire. The hands. The composure. The finish. Everything perfect there. 2 tries within 6 minutes. Leinster are having a field day so far. Goodness me. That is brilliant. Just the pace, the sheer pace of play here. Ross Byrne was calling it early. He knew that there was space out wide. Straight to Jimmy O'Brien. Jimmy O'Brien dives to the corner, gets the land over, slams it down. Over he goes. La Rochelle defense, always scrambling to get wide. Jeepers. I don't think I've ever seen a final where a team has started this well and looked so good so early. This has been ridiculous. La Rochelle, I don't even think they don't know where to look. They don't know what to do. And Ross Burnham's looking pretty good. I think it's going to curl just as off the bar, actually. So, won't get the extras. But 12 points to nil after almost 8 minutes is a ridiculous start. Look what it means to the coaching staff. First one that actually lost, that one was more of a, yep, cool. That's what I like to see. Another restart there, using James Lowe's boot a lot. Does have a very big boot. Right, now Bryce Julian, first opportunity for him to run, and he's running to Leinster's half. Now all of a sudden, La Rochelle with ball in hand. Let's see what they can conjure up. Skelton, his first carry, won't be his last. Kerbala going to the left. Dante hit hard at the tackle there by Robbie Henshaw, was up quickly. Gary Ringrose, centre partner as well, chipping in, keeping them behind the halfway line, behind the advantage line. Now Skelton, another big carry from him. Right, Aldred, bit of a handoff from Ross Byrne, and a good carry from him. He gets La Rochelle into the Leinster territory now. A couple of men out wide. Good hands, very, very good hands. Dylan Lates back inside. Much better this from La Rochelle. Another big one. Ready Wadi. Oh, bit of a juggle. Raymond Roulet, his first touch, getting the ball out eventually towards Budinet. That's a big carry from him. He's gone over Gibson Park. Hugh Keenan's eventually brought him down. And Raymond Roulet's picked up and got himself. A little bit isolated, but support does arrive. Ball is available for Kerbala. Short to Antonio. Aldrich. Good tackle. Ball and all tackle. Driving him backwards as well. It's James Ryan as well as Dan Sheehan. Antonio, first receiver. Now Raymond Roulet. Very, very good defense there from Leinster. Keeping him behind the ball. And Josh Van der Fleer going over as well. Winning the penalty. That is now. And taken from Jackson Gibson Park. The penalty for not going 5. So not being 10 back. Now James Ryan. Byrne, not too much options. Puts in the cross kick for Lowe to chase. And it's just going to be too much. They'll go back for the penalty. Well, we've seen the intensity on the attack. There was the intensity on the defense of Leicester. Rush defense, hitting the man behind the advantage line. And a yellow card. A yellow card as well for La Rochelle. Well, things are just going bad to worse from the French side. That being deemed cynical. But look at the defensive read here. And Josh Van der Fleer demonstrating why he is the best player in the world at the moment. Right, Ross Byrne finds touch inside the 22. Gibson Park very away to the threat. And yeah, I mean, they've lost Kerbala, which is a huge, huge person to lose as well. Right, so the comments saying, Adam saying, since when did the Irish hate paper? Dexter saying some kick, and Brian saying, Leicester just too good when they're on form. Well, at the moment, first mistake, really gone straight through their hands. And this should be a scrum for Rochelle. Surely it was a knock on there from Leinster. No, apparently not. So the ball is back in Leinster's. And Jamison Gibson Park digging for it, wants to go. Swing a long pass out wide. Dan Sheehan. They've scored another one. Oh my goodness. This could actually get ugly all of a sudden. 17-0 and we're not even at 12 minutes. It's ridiculous. 3 tries in 12 minutes. I'm actually a little bit lost for words, to be honest. We sat there talking about, the 2 best teams. This is going to be a close game. This is going to be, really tightly contested, hard fought. And Leinster going, nah. And Ross Perry, that looks to be a kick. Now, getting off the post. So he has left 4 points out there. I don't think they're going to mind too much. They're 17-0 after 12 minutes. It is on Supersport, on Supersport Grandstand. Also, if you are looking to watch the game, check out the description. You get yourself ExpressVPN and watch it for free on ITV. I mean, the pass just gives them part. They suddenly saw the space. And Dan Sheehan going over in the corner. Raymond Roulet scrambling across. Wants to try and get the ball in all tackle. Just didn't work out for him. Jack Cohen under the high ball once again. He started really, really well. Big boot of James Lowe. Julian being held in the tackle. That's been told to release now, though. Now Wadi. Penalty advantage for La Rochelle. Goes finds to Lates. Steps aside as Lates. A reminder that they currently do not have a scrum off at the moment, so Pastore is filling in at the moment, which means they're currently operating without a fly half, effectively. So Bryce Julian, I'm sure, will be stepping into that, and he does trip over the top. Brian chip and chase himself, doesn't quite regather. They'll go back for the penalty. And Connors let you go for the 3 points, can they, when they're 17 points down? Got to go for the corner. And La Rochelle needs to do something here. Need to try and score a try. Need to try and do something. Because at the moment, they look absolutely shell-shocked. Good take from Skelton now. First driving more, yeah, for La Rochelle. And it's been stolen. Goodness me. Oh, but a bit of a mistake there. And turnover ball right by the try line here for Leinster. Dylan Lates. Oh, advantage for offside. Ball has gone loose, but it will be a penalty for La Rochelle. James Lowe. Wow, you know, Mr. I don't think South Africa are too fond of James after the comments he made. It was not the greatest pass from Gibson Parker. It's gone straight through the hands of James Lowe and comes with his boot and bounces back towards the side of La Rochelle. And then offside. So they're going to go back and they're taking a scrum here on La Rochelle. We need a ball here, Chess. If anyone would like to produce a ball, it would be highly appreciated. Right, Sappers are seeing what the real Leinster are capable of. Well, it's not our fault that you guys, you know, are not in the URC final next week. We'd love to see this Leinster, but you guys couldn't get past the semi-finals. We'd love to be playing you guys in the final, but you know we can't. You know, we can only play what's in front of us. You know, not our fault. This has been ridiculous though from Leinster. Hey, I've been saying for a while they're the best team in the world. I've been saying it. I do think if they stuffed up a bit with the URC, look at this stage, they'll say it's worth it. But yeah, Reader's saying, I guess the rest did well, Leinster. Yeah, no, look, it's reaping the rewards so far. But can they hit back here? La Rochelle. Will be another reset here. Look, plenty of rugby to play. I mean, this would be the most ridiculous comeback ever if La Rochelle were to win it. But they do have a lot of time. 17 points to 0. And there's still 64 minutes left in the game. Still well over an hour to play. That's going to be another reset there. So 2 resets here, not really getting the scrums right so far, the two teams. Come on, big scrum here. I want to see something happen. I'd like to see La Rochelle try. Let's keep this interesting. I'm supporting a close match. I want to see drama. I'm here for the drama. Two big packs going at it. That looks a bit better. Bryce Julian is filling in the scrum off. Pretty big scrum though. Gregory Aldridge trying to keep it. Gregory Aldridge picks up and goes himself. Penalty advantage here for La Rochelle. He's going to get carried over the line. That's going to be held up, but they will have the penalty. Yep, it is held up. They do go back for the penalty. Interesting to see. Will they go again based on that scrum, or will they go to the corner? Dan and Andrew Paul is going to have some attention. Yeah, he's got a. Yeah, that ear is always a disaster. So blood all over his ear. Time is off while he gets that seen to. Probably have to tape it. But look at the scrum, yeah. And it's on tag line side, actually. So it's really good work by Redawadi. And I'll just kind of, yeah, it wrapped up and then basically carried over the try line. Was never going to be able to get that down. Another big scrum. Looks pretty well set here for La Rochelle. Alder looking to keep it going. Ball's available. Julian does go to Hastoy. Puts up to Dante. Bounce off one. The power. Oh, I don't think he's got it down. I think he's knocked it on. He thinks he scored it. I'll tell you what. They're going to have a look at it. I'm not convinced of this grounding. Let's have a look at this grounding. Bang. Bounces off one. I mean, that is. I think that's right. I think it's Gary Ringrose. He's just bounced off like it was absolutely nothing. I think it's actually alright. Yeah, Ronan Nagara is not. Never mind, he is convinced. Yeah, the grounding looks sketchy, but I think it's alright. Yeah, look what it means to the fans. They're not even checking it, Jeff. So they're happy with the grounding. Right, La Rochelle do hit back, and after 30 seconds, Kobala will be back on. So, big moment in the game. Look at the physicality, yeah. Just of Gary Ringrose, who's no slouch on defense, by the way. Absolutely no slouch, but the power of Dante just bangs it and then just goes over. Yeah, it's fine. Grounding was all good. No issue with the grounding there. Right, there we go. That's what I'd like to see. Right, I'm going to put a poll up. We're going to ask, can La Rochelle stage a comeback? And have to score next, I think. But in the poll there, let me know what you think. Is there a chance? Do they have a chance? Or is this already almost game over? They have scored, have hit back to a full contingent as well. After that, to Gregory Aldridge, they're just not really clearing it at the moment. They're sort of deep inside their own 22. Kobala taking his time. Eventually goes to the boots. Not going to find touch though. Raymond Roulet is chasing hard. Does wrap up Hugo Keenan as well. Good chase that from La Rochelle. Gibson Park though. to Jack Conan. He's going to carry all day. Penalty advantage as well. And the penalty does come. Gibson Park thought about taking it quickly, and then he pops to Ross Byrne, who I'm sure is going to go to the corner here. Or is this now game management? Is this now time to start taking the 3 points, start building the lead, start really sort of exerting that pressure? Just start building now game management. It's weird to be talking about game management in the 68th minute, but the reality is you do have such a big lead that you can afford to do it. So I think they're all going to take the points here, which I think is the right decision. Final rugby. You've scored 3 quick fire tries. Now you just take the points whenever they're on offer. Right, Ross Byrne. Pretty straightforward attempt this. Just about 2 or 3 meters right of the poles and about 10 meters beyond the 22. So probably about 35 meters out. Keeps his head down, straight down the middle. No issues there whatsoever. And Leinster would go up to 13 points lead. 20 points to 7 after 23 minutes. I mean, well more than a point a minute at this stage. Right, restart now from La Rochelle going down that right-hand side. Jack Conan once again, Mr. Reliable. Gibson Park goes to the boot. Good take there from Hugh Keenan, and they've kept possession. Andrew Porter pick up and go. Really good intensity this now. Gibson Park, Ross Byrne, not too many options, so he wants to go down the right-hand side. And has to wait all the way back. Oh, penalty. Penalty for never onside. I think this is against La Rochelle. Jonathan Dante's the one. He can't believe it. He's furious. And you see what it means by, like, and these are the small mistakes now that you just can't afford to make. Great take by Jimmy O'Brien earlier. Like to see this offside, yeah. So that's Dante, who is not doesn't really make much of a difference. It doesn't really make much of an impact on it, but doesn't retreat to offside. So feels a bit nitpicky by the letter of the law, though. He is offside, never retreated back onside. So that's a fair call. Right, Dan Shear now, ball in hand, next on the 22. And that went forward, though. So, mistake from Leinster, who not been as accurate as they'd like to have been in the last sort of 5 minutes. A couple of mistakes creeping into their game, but they were so good in that opening sort of 15-minute period that they just kind of just blew La Rochelle away. And again, now it comes down to game management. You should play the game in the right areas. When there are points on offer, take the points. Right, next is La Rochelle is letting Leinster lead for a bit, but we'll come back and win. Mike, I would say anyone know the time limit for place kicking in this comp? I think there is. I don't know if there's a shot clock to say, but I think there is a time limit. Please just smash like the video, by the way, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are less than 40 people away from... less than 30 people actually away from 25,000 subscribers. So let's be really cool if we can get to that today. 26 minutes here. La Rochelle with a defensive scrum on the 22 on the far right-hand side. And they need to make something happen. If they can get another try before half-time, they'll be within a... If it's a converted try by half-time, they'll be within a a converted try of the lead. But yeah, free kick at the scrum there. Andrew Porter and Shotgun Horror doesn't agree. They never tend to do that. Let's look at some of the stats in the meantime, shall we? Those are some of the stats at the moment. 54% possession with Leinster, 46% with La Rochelle. La Rochelle have conceded 4 penalties to Leinster's 2. And scrums and lineouts have all been pretty solid for all the teams. Right now, Leinster has lifted it high in the air, and they're going after that. That's a good take, though, from Leinster, and it's a good carry there as well. I think it's Ty Furlong getting involved in the action. Gibson Park firing it back to Ross Byrne. Ross Byrne putting it high in the air. Hugo Keenan is lurking, as is Jimmy O'Brien. Jimmy O'Brien gets it. It comes off of Jimmy O'Brien, falls to Kerbalo. Under a lot of pressure there. There is a knock-on advantage. It does eventually get down to the ground. Slow ball, yeah, Raymond Roulet in that scrum off. I'll just pick up and go. The 2 number 8s also started pretty well at the moment. Right, Hastaway, not too many options. It goes to reverse. Throws it, and it goes all the way out to the late. Steps inside of Dan Sheehan. Makes a couple of yards. Good carry from the South African wing. I can actually remove the yellow card. I don't know why it's still on there. Josh van der Vlier getting involved there. Right, now all the way back there on the angle. Great tackle there from Gibson Park. Was he held is the question. The crowd seemed to think so. A lot of big pressure coming at the ruck as well. Kerbalo eventually arriving. So a lot of pressure at the breakdown from Leinster. And they go back to Hastaway. And Hastaway has to hack this downfield. He needs to try and find touch. It's swirling above and low. It's a great touch finder as well. In fact, it didn't find touch. I thought it would touch the downside side, but just inside, so it hasn't found touch. And turnover ball, I think, is well for La Rochelle. So they have one possession back. Kerbalo going to Antonio, who takes the more direct route. Kerbalo now to Will Skelton. Big tackle in, very vertical. Oh, and Wadi's next one taken from underneath him by Mike Gibson Park. But ball available for Gregory Eldritch. Popping onto the angle. Really, really intelligent play there. Good offload there to Sazzy. We haven't seen too much of him. Big tackle coming in from Gary Ringrose. He's flown up and put Ras Julian under a lot of pressure. Big counter rack as well from Leinster. This is going to be turnover ball here. Penalty. Let's say the breakdown all of a sudden has become an absolute war. And one that, there we go. A couple of fisticuffs here. Players getting involved. Gregory Eldritch involved. Will Skelton having a bit of a laugh with a couple of players. Yeah, this is always going to creep into a game in a final, isn't it? Still a couple of words being said amongst people. And I think I'm perhaps going to have a word with the captains here. Good pressure, yeah. It is a penalty though for Leinster, so again we'll probably take the points. Yeah, Duck Paper having a couple of words. Gregory Aldred there, as well as James Ryan. Not with James Ryan, actually. He's walking off. He's going for an HIA from the looks of it. So that's not good for Leinster. So Jason Jenkins has been readied. But yeah, they're going to go for the polls here. Our Leinster try and just, yeah, and again, they can just build this lead, really. So here comes Jason Jenkins, the big South African. Good news is there will be a South African lifting that trophy later today. Right, so as the half an hour mark does tick by, Ross Byrne is lining up his, fifth attempted goal so far, 3 conversions, and a penalty which he has nailed. This one a little bit further to the right than the previous one, but still pretty straightforward, so I shouldn't imagine he'll have too many issues with this. he does knock this over. All of a sudden, it starts to become a very big lead once again. It's already a pretty big lead. It's sitting at 13 points. It could be 16 points lead. So this to be extended to past 2 converted tries. No issues whatsoever. La Rochelle needs to do 2 things. First of all, they got to start finding some points, but they've got to get out of their half, and they've got to start, you know, just... This is where the concussion came. Yeah, James Ryan getting it very wrong, just sort of landing onto the ground there. That's a great tackle from Gary Ringrose. Brilliant read. And he wraps up Ross Judo, and that's where the counter comes in. They go to the middle of the park now to La Rochelle. Ross Byrne comes back on the angle. This is the first tackler. Gibson Park goes back to James Lowe. Once again, that big left boot. And he's looking just for touch and only touch, and does find touch. Not a bad touch find either, up towards the 10-meter line. Yeah, the Rochelle haven't really pitched up, have they? They've not looked. They just looked a bit slow, a little bit off it, and not particularly impressive at the moment. They've had 1 or 2 moments, but they just look, as I said, shell shocked is the best way to describe it, because they just look absolutely nowhere. Right, it's a good take by Budinet, and now looking for the rolling more here. Budinet is holding things at the back there, and they're still going here. And eventually they've been brought down by the 20. That's very weird. They're kind of inching forward, and nobody from Leinster really wanted to get involved. And that is so stupid. I think this is against... I think it's in Sazio or Brunet for holding the last friendly player on the ground. I mean, how stupid can you get? How stupid can you get? And he's holding on to it. I mean, no, you don't deserve it. You see things like that. You can't. You're not going to win finals if you're doing like that. That is moronic. Is the only word to describe it. Right, and Levani Bottia is getting some attention on his finger. I mean, how can you expect to try and become European champions if you're going to concede a penalty for something as stupid as that? I mean, are you just holding Josh Pennefleur on the ground? You've just gifted him a free penalty. You finally got some opportunity to actually do something, and you just say, actually... Nah, we actually just don't want to. We actually don't like to have nice things. So, you know, let me just do something stupid and concede a penalty. 6 penalties conceded. And you do think about half of them are quite avoidable. Right, so a couple of words to the props. Dan Sheehan is ready to feed the line out. Bit of break and play. I'm not sure what the issue is. Right, Jack Cronin pops together to Gibson Park. And Robbie Henshaw. Haven't really seen much of him today. Now Doris, the batting ram he is, but really good. Now yesterday was almost initially a very good, and actually won the penalty. Really good. Steal that from Mbotia, who was getting some attention on his fingers, but that is a brilliant turnover. That, in terms of timing, that is perfect. As he goes down, straight over the ball, in a position of power, just waits for the hit and then just grabs the ball as he rolls over and grabs the penalty. That's much better. You see Ronan O'Gara appreciating it as well. A couple of moments like that. See, not the stupidity of the last couple of penalties. Moments like that are how you can shift a bit of momentum. Somebody who decides to take responsibility on himself and says, you know what, I'm going to affect something. I'm going to create something. I'm going to win myself our team a penalty. Now we're going to get into 22. Let's see if we can make something happen. It's about individuals taking responsibility. Good take. Looking for the running more once again. Now here's the man who won the penalty box here into the 22 as well. Good carry from him. And they've lost it forward. That's about standard, isn't it? That sort of sums it up, isn't it? That's every single time they've had an opportunity. Now Bryce Jen all the way back. What can he conjure up? Has to go to the boot. Kicks it to the space. And James Lowe's got a lot of opportunities, a lot of time to try and find an option. Kicks down the middle. A little bit of techers there from Hastoy. Down the throat of Byrne. I think it's Keenan, actually. Good taking Kerbarlo. Fires out wide as well. And Boccia just sort of shifting back inside. Throws down to give some park away, but it is brought down. Slow ball here for La Rochelle. All the way back inside their own half. Not really playing in the right areas. Also really starting to hurt them. Now a little chip over the top. Here's a bit of variation. And the ball bounced the ball. Oh, was bounced away from one. It's eventually brought up. Ashiani throws the ball. It's a bit of a loose ball. It's a loose ball. Not the best kick. Is it going to pop up for him though? Yes, he got the pace. Hugh Keenan's going to go over. Cheap as me. That almost looked like it was going to be something like a nothing try for Paul Budderend. But just didn't quite have the pace. Ball just wasn't really popping up to him. He was just desperately trying to kick it ahead. I think if it just popped up to him once and he managed to grab it, I think he would have gone over here. Tell you what, they could have really done with a moment like that. Yeah, it just wasn't that the first kick. I think he got his left boot there, and that's just firing towards Hugo Keenan, who carries it over. It'll be a goal line dropout. Yeah, it was pretty poor pass from Danchi. Not quite sure what he was thinking there. Should just be holding on to it. Alright, taking and Eldritch. Let's take it underneath him from Gary Rose. He gets up and goes again. Much better hands. Much better hands. Much better hands. Julian into the gap. Into the 22. Kerbarlo. Raymond Roulet now. So firing until Will Skelton. Will Skelton takes 3 to bring him down. Nice and flat to Antonio. Good carry from him. Oh, jeepers. Big tackle coming on Raymond Roulet there. Dante doesn't think it was legal. Much better this from La Rochelle. Really testing the defense here. No hands going to release it. Kerbarlo. To Skelton. Skelton's trying to get the offload away. Dylan Lace stepping the inside looking for options. Ball went backwards. Boccia working really hard. They're within 5 meters here. La Rochelle. Just for half time. It's been an ideal time to score. Kerbarlo. This is going to go to Aldred. Big tackle on him though. Quick ball there from Kerbarlo. To Antonio. Oh, there's numbers. This has to be. Yep. Straight over. Great try. Cioteni goes over. Much better from La Rochelle. You felt the entire build-up, moving left to right, a couple of offloads, really nice flat passes as well. And then all of a sudden, the numbers mismatch. And Cioteni's gone straight over to hit back just for half time. A couple of good carries. Much better from La Rochelle. Right, well, still lots to do, but if the conversion is good, they'll get themselves the 9 points. Just keep this game alive. Just keep it interesting for us. We want the drama. Much better, and that's a warning. I think that's a warning to what they can do. Now they just need to do that more. He's very animated, Ronan Nagara. Right, restart here from Leinster. A minute to go for half time. The important thing, I think, for La Rochelle is just to exit here. They've done well to score just right there. They said they're still very far behind. But take the momentum in with you at half time. Go in half time saying, right, boys, we're 9 points down. We scored a try early in the second half. That can become 2 points. 2-point game, anyone's game. That's a penalty away. That's got to be the chat. They've got to remain. They've got to remain positive. Kerbalo lifted high in the air, a couple of chases, and it's been one back. That's much better. See a couple of moments. Kerbalo now. Wadi. Now Hastoy. Fires it down the right hand side with Rossburn on the catcher on the turn. Now Rossburn looking for distance. Right, Julia, what can he conjure up? He can chase himself. Ball comes loose off of low. Backwards though. Forced to ring roads. Knock on. I think that will be half time. It will be half time. Right, half time. Leinster 23. La Rochelle 14. What a half of rugby. I don't think any of us expected there to be 41 points in that half, especially final rugby. But Leinster started like an absolute house on fire. And for La Rochelle, absolutely shell-shocked. They were 17-0 at a stage. So to go from 17-0, 23 points to 14 is probably not terrible. They're probably not panicking just yet. They'll feel that there's definitely grew into the half. And a bit of a chat now with the coach. And they have to come back firing. Come back firing and let's see what they can do. Please do smash like on the video. We are 25 people away from 25,000 subscribers. So if you are a new viewer, please do subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in a few. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. But today's guide on how to watch the Champions Cup final live. Leinster versus La Rochelle at the Aviva Stadium. It should be an absolutely epic encounter. The question is, did Leinster and La Rochelle gamble last weekend to play weekend teams? La Rochelle playing it in a league game, so far less consequences. But for Leinster, they crashed out of the URC because they are so focused on this game. Now, is it worth the gamble? We're going to find out. We will be live for the game as well, so do come and join us. But in terms of watching all the action, you can watch it on several different free-to-air broadcasters, which means it's easier than ever to watch the action with a VPN if you're outside these territories. Before we tell you exactly how to do it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so it is being shown on RTE, it's being shown on ITV, and it's being shown on France TV, which means you've got three different options. You have to be in either the UK or France to access them. If you're outside the UK or France, you will still be able to access them, but with a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, which looks something like that. Link in the description. Basically, what it'll do is it'll geolocate your device to make it seem as if you are in a different country. In this case, we can put ourselves in the UK. And as a result, you're then going to be able to watch ITV for free. And all you have to do is register. You don't have to do any credit card details, whatever. Connect to a UK server, and you can watch. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to those three little dots on the right-hand side. You're going to it'll open up all the various locations. You're going to go to the UK. Now, we're currently not connected, which means that when you go to ITV, it says this. Due to our broadcast content license, you can only watch ITV in the UK. Cool. So we're then going to go back to our VPN, and we're going to turn it on. It's going to connect. When it goes green, it means you are connected. By the way, in terms of ExpressVPN, I recommend getting the 12-month subscription. You get 3 months free, and you'll be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free as well. So we're now connected to a UK server, as we saw, and now we're going to click on Watch Live. And unfortunately, the screen capture itself won't show the action, but you'll be able to hear that it is playing. Obviously, I can see it on my side, but it's just a screen capture software issue.
So this is it here. So basically,
and there we go. You can hear it going on. So I can pause it. I can play it. So it is currently, as I said, the screen capture software doesn't work, but it is currently going off in the background there. I'll just mute it, and it's as easy as that. And as I said, you'll be able to watch all the action on Saturday night via this method. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. But apart from that, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon. And we are live. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport for today's episode of the World Cup Selector. And it should be quite a cool one. We're doing scrum halves today, and we're really starting to come to you know, the main part of the squad selection. As you can see over there, we've got a full pack, which we have picked over the last 2 weeks to determine exactly who's going to go to France and who's not at this stage. Now, the next thing we need to do is pick some scrum halves. On Wednesday, we're going to pick some fly-halves. Next week, however, will be the last week of the series. We'll be doing centers as well as outside backs. And then we will be doing an episode where we will pick a final 23. So if you are new to the concept, it's quite simple. Basically, what we do is we throw out some names, you run some polls, and everybody goes and votes on exactly who they would like to see in the squad. And we kind of sit there building a squad like that. Basically, how we've been doing it is that we have been basing it on the last World Cup squad in terms of the number of players going in each position. And then we have got 2 additional players. We've got 2 additional spots, for example, that we can then use. So, for example, we at this stage have taken an extra forward in Jasper Wiese. We've taken an extra loose forward compared to what we took. I mean, in 2019, we took 5 loose forwards. And over here, you can see we've got 6 with Zirklis, Pierce, Toy, Dreyfman, Dion Free, Quacker Smith, and Jasper Wiese. So the next thing we're going to do is pick 3 scrum halves, 3 fly halves, or 2 fly halves, really, because that's kind of what we went last time. And it depends on what we're going to sort of classify. Because last time, David Billings was classified as a fly half, although he sort of actually replaced JC Creel in the squad. So it's more sort of in as a utility back. But yeah, so we're going to be picking 2 fly halves on Wednesday. And then next week, we're going to be clicking on 4 centers. And then we're going to do some outside backs, some wings and fullbacks. And eventually, we will have a 23-man squad as chosen by you guys. And then we're going to be doing an episode where we'll be taking the 33-man squad and whittling down to a final 23, deciding who starts, who's on the bench. If we were to play a final tomorrow, basically what it would look like. And that's going to be really, really cool. So, first of all, a big thank you to everybody who's been involved so far. As I said, we've got about 5 episodes left in the series. It should be quite a lot of fun. We're now getting some very controversial ones. So today we're going to be doing scrum half. So you think of your Faf de Klerk, Jaden Hendrickson, Grant Williams, Kobus Reinachs. Those sort of your main players. Hershey Yankees, for example, playing very well at the moment as well. So it should be interesting to see what we decide to do with the scrum halves. Going to some of the comments here. AC saying, I think the Humber is more of a utility player, can kick. I'm disappointed or was part of injured again. He didn't play yesterday because of a calf strain, but all signs point to the fact that he's actually all right. It was more precautionary thing than anything else, and certainly nothing that we need to be worried about with regards to the Springboks or the World Cup this year. But we'll talk a bit more about Pollard on Wednesday when we do our fly half. Today we are focusing on our number 9s. And so we're going to throw some names out. Back in 2019, we took Faf de Klerk, Hershey Yankees, Kobus Reinach. Faf de Klerk was the preferred starter. Hershey Yankees came off the bench. Kobus Reinach played a couple of games. Playing very well at the moment is Kobus Reinach. Faf de Klerk, I think, is still probably the incumbent number 9. Jaden Hendrickson played a lot last year. Grant Williams has been invited to training camps as well. So interesting to see that he's involved. At this stage, Hershey Yankees not involved. He's kind of fallen out of favour. Although, as I said, in the last couple of weeks, I think that Hershey Yankees has been playing close to some of his best rugby that we've seen probably since the last World Cup, which is very cool to see. So hopefully he is starting to get himself back onto back into form and stuff like that. So without any further ado, let's start with building a poll, shall we? Who is the first number 9 into the squad? And I'm going to put in Faf de Klerk. I'm going to put in Kobus Reinach. I'm going to throw in Jaden Hendrickson. And I put in Grant Williams. Those are the 4 that seem to have been involved the most with the Boks over the last sort of year. So I'm going to throw that out there. You guys can go and get voting and stuff like that. For me, I'm very interested to see if Grant Williams might get an opportunity. He's probably been the form scrum half of the URC competition. And in fact, tomorrow I'm going to be having my URC team of the season from a segment basically coming out, which should be quite cool. Be interested to see what you guys have to say about that. Today as well, we're going to be doing a URC review. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a URC team of the week, which will come out as well as on Wednesday within 5 things learned from the URC. With regards to Curry Cup, we're going to be having a review coming out today as well as the 5 things learned on Wednesday. So that's kind of the Curry Cup content and stuff that's going to be coming out as well. And as I said, on Wednesday we'll be doing the next part of this series. And then from there, the rest of the week, we're sort of building up to the weekend. As the rugby sort of season, the domestic season kind of comes to an end. So we've been doing a lot more Curry Cup coverage on Friday. Hopefully we're going to be doing Western Province versus Pumas, as well as Sharks versus Cheetahs. Saturday, they've got Griffins versus Creekwood, Lions versus Bulls, Saturday at 5 o'clock. But also, we are going to be looking at the Champions Cup final, which is at 5:45 on Saturday as well. So we might even have two streams running at the same time during that game. Leinster versus La Rochelle at the Aviva Stadium. And that should be absolutely epic. And then next weekend, we've got the USC final, which at this stage is scheduled for 6:30 Stormers versus Munster next week, Saturday. Should be an absolute cracker as well. Top 14 is moving into sort of the final stage, as well as Premiership, for example. We saw playoffs yesterday for Premiership begin. Top 14. Still got quite a few fixtures left. They sort of play quite late into the year. I think the Premiership final is scheduled for, I think, next weekend. Then we get the URC final. So we'll be doing that as well. Saracens versus the Sale Sharks. Should be quite cool to see what happens there. Quite a few South Africans involved in the Sale Sharks, for example. So there we go. And yeah, well, any further ado, I hope you guys are voting. And we've got 13 votes at the moment. Let's see if we can get that towards 15 votes. And then we'll sort of close it there. We'll add our first name to the sheet. At this stage, it looks like Faf de Klerk's getting quite a lot of support. Interesting to see the support that Grant Williams is getting. As I said, he's been playing very good rugby for the Sharks. Very different to sort of what this traditional, or what the Springbok scrum of recent times, sort of the mold that they're looking for. But it's got that X factor, doesn't it? You've got something that can do, you can do stuff that other people can't. Going to some of the comments, I'll be saying it's Holby, Faf, Heineken, and maybe Williams. Actually saying it should be Faf, Heineken, maybe Williams. Andrew's saying if Hendricks said Bosch's name is good to play, then he'll get selected, no doubt. James White saying having Grant Williams on the bench gives us more versatility. If you go with a 6-2 split because he can play on the wing, I think so does Stuart Raynoch, to be fair, from a pace perspective. But yeah, Grant Williams probably played a bit more on the wing than Raynoch has in recent times. We have got 15 votes, so I'm going to end it there. I'm going to add our first name to the list, which is going to be none other than the incumbent Faf de Klerk, who I thought started the season pretty averagely last year, but by the end of the year was playing much better rugby. And I think we all know he is very important to the way that we play, in terms of the defensive structure, for example. But tactical kicking obviously a very important thing. We do play a lot of 9, and we kick a lot of 9 as well. So for example, Grant Williams, that's an area of his play that he's going to have to improve if he's going to want to play for the Springboks. That he needs to be very good with his tactical kicking and box kicking and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be interesting to see now who we're going to join him, because we're now going to another poll out, and who is the next number 9 on into the squad. And we're now going to take that click out. We're going to have Jaden Hendrickson. We're going to have Grant Williams. We're going to have Kobus Raynoch. And we're going to throw in Herschel Yankees, who I've actually been very impressed with in the last sort of 6 weeks. Very interesting to see how he plays next weekend, and whether he can solidify a second URC title. So there we go. I'm going to throw that out there to you guys to start voting. Obviously, Raynoch and Williams offer similar things, so maybe have Hendrickson instead of Williams. Well, there we go. Let's go and see. So we'll go and vote. As I said, we've now got almost over 20 people in the chat, so keep going and voting. And let me know who you guys are back and who you guys would like to see. As I said, at the end of the day, this is your team, so you guys get to decide who's who in the zoo. Right, go and get voting. We've got 11 votes so far, and it is neck and neck between Jane and Grant Williams, Cobus Raynoch, all with 33%. So we're going to need a lot more people voting here, so we can try and whittle down to one of those players. We need to get one player ahead. 12 votes, see if we can get maybe 20 votes, maybe. If you are watching, please do keep going, go and vote. It's the whole point of the show. It's supposed to be very interactive, and you guys get an opportunity to sort of show your preference and have your say. So yeah, don't be scared. Go and vote and go and add your 2 cents, and let's build us a nice little squad to go and win the World Cup in France, shall we? Right, we are back, and they are back. And it's time. 40 minutes away from crowning a European champion. That is what is at stake, as both teams do take to the field. Right now, the situation, 23 points to 14. An absolute world-class start by Leinster has put them in the driving seat. And let's see if we're now going to see an epic comeback. I mean, it'd be one of the comebacks of the century, one of the best comebacks in rugby. If La Rochelle could do it, come from 17-0 to go on to win the game. Can they do it? We know they can. Will they is the question, though. And how big will the benches be? And a couple of very nice players on the bench for both sides. And yeah, Johnny Sexton looking pretty suave in a whole suit of the going there. Not involved. Next one we'll see him will hopefully be the World Cup. But at the moment, his deputy Ross Byrne going pretty well for Leinster. And right now, it is about seeing what La Rochelle are made of. They were horrible. They were nowhere. They were absolutely nowhere in the first 10 minutes, and Leinster just punished them. Bang, 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 bang. They went at the races, and bang, they were behind. All of a sudden, a couple of tries, and if they can get off to a good start, then maybe the impossible is possible. But anyway, it's a good start for Leicester. It's a good take from Caelan Doris, but a big break counter coming from La Rochelle. They need to start winning the small battles, don't they? They need to start winning a couple of penalties. They need to start playing in the right positions. Because again, you're sitting there now 9 points behind. You get 2 quick penalties and you can get yourself within 3 points behind. So there's a lot of rugby to play. Things definitely not over just yet. Right, now they're going down the blind side there. Raymond Roulet, legs cut out, and Josh Benaflia wants to get over, but it's a good breakdown work once again from La Rochelle. Their cleaners have been very good at the rucks today. Oh, bit of a fumble there. But has to a bit of pressure on him as well. But eventually managed to get back to his feet and down once again, so support does arrive. Gregory Aldrich. Going quite lateral, but also taking a bit of time to go down so that people can arrive to support. Will Carlton get the ball away to Antonio as well. They're 2 big lads. Combining well. Now that's a nice strong carry. That looks a bit better. A bit of intensity about things now. Kerbalo is he looking for the boot here? He does look for the boot. Lifts it high in the air. Couple of chases there. Low. Rounded out in the air. It's a good take from him though. Leinster with ball in hand now. Bit of a caterpillar all the way back there for Gibson Park. Right, Julian underneath it. What can he conjure up? Gets away from 1. Wrapped up by Tarek Furlong. Now Kerbalo goes himself, looking for the offload as well. Gianna steps into scrum off. Gregory Aldrich, good offload. That's story. Oh, a bit of a struggle, and Sioteni's through. Look at the pace. Look at the pace. And the step. And the step. He needs options. The tackle comes. They're just short of the 5 meter. What a run that is. Dylan Lates there to Gregory Aldrich. Run the hands. Kerbalo back on the angle. Not sure that was the right decision. But La Rochelle all of a sudden inside the 22. On the bounce to Dylan Lates. What does Dylan Lates conjure up? Wants to get through 1. Penalty advantage as well for La Rochelle. Penalty. Decision time. Decision time. It's right by the poles. Personally, I'm taking the points. I'm knocking it over, taking the points. That's what I think I would be doing. That would be my instruction if I was the coach. But at the same time, you do travel. I mean, it's right by the poles. This is an easy 3 points. Get yourself within a converted try. Lots of rugby to play. Kerbalo has put the ball down. Gregory Aldrich has pointed to the poles. All the right decisions. There we go. That's a bit of intensity that we like to see. I just want drama. That's what I want. I want drama. Right, Antoine Hastoy pops it over. Right, La Rochelle. I said that they have to score first. That was going to be very important, and they do. Not score first, but they get the first points on the second half. They reduced that margin to 6 points. That means a converted try, and they are in the lead. Important tackle there. And coming with the 3-point, not the worst result for Leinster given the momentum that La Rochelle had, but this will give them a lot of confidence. They've now scored, what, 10 unanswered points? And penalty for, and a knock-on for Leinster. That's a good work from them at the breakdown, though. They forced a mistake out of La Rochelle, and that's a whole moment for them. You want to start well, especially, you've gone and you scored the try. You need to then take your kickoff well and get a good clearance in and keep the momentum. So very Elder takes it in here. And a very good counter-rack coming there from Caelan Doris. He loses the ball forward as he's trying to rip it. And you can see it's frustration creeping in there, the coaching staff. Is this Tyke Furlong going off? He is going off, by the way. There goes Tyke Furlong. So another toe is going to come on. He's very capable, but you'd imagine that Tyke Furlong would have played at least about 50 minutes. Right, big try on this now for La Rochelle. They have to give the puck with ball in hand. You kind of wonder, if Leinster score here, how many times can La Rochelle keep picking themselves up? How many times can they keep having a go before they're going to be spent? Big scrum though. Ball pops up and it's a penalty. It's going to be a penalty. Conan's got it. So this will be interesting to see what they go. Gibson Park. Around the outside, Gibson Park. Inside, Kurt Barlow's going to have the pace. Now, do they go with the 3 points and just try and nullify what La Rochelle have just done? Or are they going to go for the corner? I think they're going to go for the corner. Nope, they are going to go for the 3 points. Yeah, cup final rugby. You've got to just keep the scoreboard ticking over. That's the big thing. Right, Ross Byrne has he's missed 2 today. He has missed 2 today. They were both hard, I'll give it granted, but he has still missed 2. And an important kick this really, as I said, it's kind of now about knocking the sails. It's about just knocking that confidence of La Rochelle down, making sure they don't believe themselves they can make the comeback. Because they started well, yeah, La Rochelle. Right, keeps his head down as Ross Byrne. Very, very good kick. Right, back to a 9-point game. As his brother watches on. Tell you what, Jamison Gibson Park is such a silky player. 2 world-class nines in the field at the moment. Right, Conan once again under the kickoff. Very, very strong carry. He's been really, really good today. Definitely in the man of the match conversations. Gibson Park goes to the boot. I think just outside 22. I don't know if it was in the 22. Yeah, it is out in the full. That's a big, big, big mistake from Gibson Park. We talked about how La Rochelle didn't take the kickoff well and let them back in. Well, that's the same thing here. And all of a sudden, La Rochelle will have a line out inside the 22. Again, they've got to score next. They've got to score next. I mean, yeah, the pack is just so big. Right, looking for the maul. As you'd imagine, with the size of the pack they do have, want to try and keep it nice and physical. Presented to Kurt Barlow there. Goes to Jonathan Dainty. Got front of Flair having to help out there. Oh, jeepers me, that's a big hit. Sheesh! But a penalty. But my word, what a hit that was. There's Dan Sheehan that made that. Goodness me. So, yeah, and they'll just, once again, there we go. Take the points. Look, this is such a good tackle. This is, yeah, that's a huge hit. Henshaw and Sheehan making contact at the same time. Yeah, it's a really, really big tackle. You can see the penalty, but it's a big tackle. Right, now to make this a 6-point game once again. This is now going to become a bit of an arm wrestle, I think. And as I said, for La Rochelle, the big thing is you've just got to keep yourself within touching distance. Give yourself a chance. If you're within 6, that becomes within 3, for example. But if you're within 7 the entire time, you've got that chance. Astro does add the extras, no issue there. Give yourself the chance. Keep yourself in the game. You're within that 7, you're within that magical converter try, you're always in the game. Right, last burn. Deep restart. This needs to be a much better exit from La Rochelle. Almost a bit of miscommunication. They brought you and eventually taking it, going to that left boot. Very, very good touch finder. That's much better. That's a good exit. Taking it, kicked it pretty low down the left-hand side. Yeah, that's a really good clearance. Back inside. That pin Leinster back inside their own half. So I said, La Rochelle doing a lot of things right all of a sudden, which they weren't doing in the first half. So a bit of momentum here. Leinster need to be careful. You don't want to give them a sniff. And he's been tossed down. The ball's come loose. Jimmy O'Brien right up against the touchline. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. Look down for a second. And all of a sudden, a couple of cracks maybe appearing in this Leinster armour. Good penalty. Straight to Osborne. And then bang, Kerbalo. And I'll tell you what, a different day, that falls to him. So I think it'll be a knock-on initially, potentially, yeah, from I think Savvy. Great charge down. I think this isn't over here from Savage who tries to grab it. Yeah, so it should be a scrum for Leinster. Yeah, so it will be a scrum. So not entirely, it's not a complete disaster for. Oh no, they are going for the line out. Off the head of the call. Oh dear, the crowd won't appreciate that. It is the line for La Rochelle. So as disastrous as possible for Leinster. Six lines won, 1 line lost from Leinster. La Rochelle 4 from 4. I mean, it's at the time you go and throw Will Skelton in the air. Not too many people are going to get the ball back from it, are they? They're going, once again going for the rolling more here, just outside of 22. Shifting a lot towards the right, not getting too much go forward ball. Kerbalo wants the ball, but now they're starting to get him momentum. They need to get that ball out there, I think. I think they've waited too long here. It's available though. Gregory Aldridge goes himself. Inside the 22 here, La Rochelle. Very, very good awareness there from Botia. Ball did pop out and he managed to grab it on the ground. Slow ball this for Kerbalo. Very, very slow ball. Eventually available for him. You go on the blind side, Aldridge. Hands here. Dante goes himself. Sheehan's won it back though. That's a brilliant turnover. Not convinced that there was a release there, but it's a big moment. That's bounced on the line. It's a great clearance. Absolutely brilliant clearance. That's a big moment. I want to see if there's a release here from Dan Sheehan. Okay, it's not part of the tackle, so he's okay to play. That's a brilliant turnover. Absolutely brilliant. He is absolutely world-class, Dan Sheehan. Him, Malcolm Marks, Julian Marchand, 3 best hookers in the world by quite some margin. Quite some margin, if you ask me. Got a good line there. They're running all this time. Kurbotto. Botia. He's carried a lot so far. Now they're going down the left-hand side. Skelton to Aldrich. Good tackle. James Gibson Park trying to get over that ball. Now Wadi has assistance from his tight head. They're looking to go on a bit of a run, and they can bring him down. Raymond Roulette fires out pass out wide. Comes back inside. Trying to drag him out there. They are going to drag him out. The ball's come loose there. So it's managed to keep it alive. Now Will Skelton. Good this work from shall be continuity. Antonio now. Ulchip and chase. Bit of space opening up. Not sure was the right option in the end. Leinster, I think it's done very well to have covered that. Gibson Park fires it to the feet of Ross Byrne. Or was it Hugo Keenan? I think it was actually Ross Byrne. Straight down the middle. Bryce Julian. It's got Raymond Roulette company. Right, what are they going to do? He can chase himself. I think it's like Hastoy, actually. It is Hastoy. Good take by Jimmy O'Brien. That's Hugo Keenan, actually. That's why it's such a good take. So good in the air is Hugo Keenan. This is one of the viewers saying you're very far away in the back angles. Right, now goes back to James Lowe. You know it's James Lowe because first of all he's got a ponytail and he's kicked into touch. He's kicked into touch, directly into touch. This is what I'm saying. A couple of mistakes all of a sudden are keeping into Leinster game. Big line out now. They're on the 22. They got to Aldred. No, it's not Aldred. There's a replacement on here. Looks like they brought on Thomas Levalt. Good carry that from Jonathan Dante into the 22. They go. So Rain Sazi has been taken off. Bobby Henshaw's down. I think that's going to be an HIA. He looks in a lot of pain. Kurbotto going towards the right side. Gregory Aldred. But the ball's been ripped by Josh van der Fleer to James Lowe. Oh, he sliced it. He's completely sliced it. Not a great kick from him at all. So La Rochelle knocked back another sort of 20 meters, but still deep inside and off. This is worrying signs, though. That looks like Will Skelton. Will Skelton is down. Robbie Henshaw also didn't look particularly happy. So the physicality of this game really starting to take its toll. Great rip in the tackle there by Josh van der Fleer. Really good work. Yeah, it's amazing how the tables have turned. Leinster were doing everything right and putting all the pressure on in the first half. All of a sudden, La Rochelle have turned that around. There's 6 points in it, so still a lot to play for La Rochelle. They need to convert a try to get into the lead, but they tell you what, they've got 25 minutes left. They've got plenty of time, and they do seem to have a bit of momentum over here. Be absolutely epic if they were to complete this comeback. Right, so Will Skelton getting a bit of treatment. Looks like he will continue. He's getting that knee wrapped up. Right, so a couple of subs coming on here now. So at the moment, Jason Jenkins has stayed on, obviously, and Ella are the only subs for Leinster, but that looks like that's going to change. I'm seeing a couple of players being readied. Thomas Levalt, he's the only player on for La Rochelle. Skelton is back on his feet. Yeah, also as commentators make a good point, the fact that anytime off, it is such a big pack of La Rochelle's that you expect them to sort of fade a bit earlier, but so just trying to be able to tactically slow the game down every now and again. That's a really good. This is looking a much better rolling more. Yeah, they spin towards the left. They're still going. They're still going. They got the run on here. This is really good here from La Rochelle. Really, really good. Now the ball's going to come down. Are they going to be able to get it out is the question. No, it has been turned over. It has been turned over. You see, it's always a tricky one, isn't it? You got the run. You managed to find a couple of yards, but then do you use it or do you keep it in? And I think in that situation, probably should have used it. They had the momentum. They'd made a good 10 meters. Maybe even more, about almost 20. Take it out. Down here, and Josh Benefit, I'm not entirely sure was not coming from the side, to be fair. I like to see it from this angle here. Yeah, so now it's a bit too late. Big scrum, would be a reset. Right, so thinking of a poll. I'm trying to think of a poll. Couple of resets here. Big scrum needed from La Rochelle. If they can win a penalty here, that'll be decision time, wouldn't it be? Just over 20 minutes left in the match. And still so much on the line, yeah. Big scrum coming, and a lot of pressure being put on Jack Conan as well. That's much better from La Rochelle. Botia getting involved as well, putting them under a lot of pressure. They lost a few meters here. So the intensity of La Rochelle is very impressive so far in the second half. Does find the clearance. Lates. Julian now, but a space to run. Almost through the gap. Brought down by Alalato. Very Aljago himself. Throwing the dummy, but wrapped up by Caelan Doris. He was often as opposite number 8 when they play internationally. Now Skelton, good offload. They got a bit of numbers here. Dante, as he dropped it, or he dropped it onto his boot. I'm not entirely sure, but that's a bit poor. Yeah, just not going to hand there from Dante. It's pretty poor in the end from him, actually. Right, Jack Conan is off. Baird is on, which means that Doris will move to 8th man, I'm sure. Another big scrum needed. It was a pretty good scrum, and they have made a couple of replacements here. Pick up and go for Kalen Doris. We're hard in the tackle. Gregory Eldridge trying to get his hands over the ball and try and just disrupt the breakdown a bit. Will Skelton now getting involved. It's taking a while for Leinster just to secure this ruck. Gibson Park taking his time. And there officially is 20 minutes left. The hour mark has just ticked by. Gibson Park. Right, Julian all the way back in his own half. What can he conjure up from here? Goes down the short side to Dylan Lates. Dylan Lates cuts inside. Good tackle on him from Alato. Ball's coming a bit loose. But eventually is secure. Kerbalo. Big carry that. Nice on the angle there. Jonathan Dante taking a few meters. That's a great turnover. Robbie Henshaw. Goodness me, that's good. Robbie Henshaw take a ball. That is absolutely brilliant. Now Gary Ringo, centre partner coming away with it. He's slightly isolated. Jonathan Dante getting over that ball though. Well, they're begging for the penalty, but Yakapepa unmoved. Ross Byrne just hammering this down the middle of the park. Not too many other options. Reeled in. Julian now. Does fine touch. Much better from Leinster. The second half has been more what I expected in the first half. There's really nothing in. I mean, at the moment, the second half score is 6 points to 3 to La Rochelle. Take away that first 12 minutes, it's been a really intense and close game, which is kind of what we sort of expected. That's why that start from Leinster is so phenomenal and so impressive. And it looks like Robbie Henshaw, by the way, is going to make way, making a brilliant turnover. It looks like that could be his last involvement. Did go down a bit earlier. I think he might have to go for an HIA. Yeah, there comes charging at necktie. Skelton trying to disrupt a few things by having a chat. But Osman Afleer comes back, throws a very flat pass. First carry of the day for Charlie Inkai. Gibson Park getting around a bit of traffic and then lifting high in the air for Raymond Roulet. Should be able to mark this and will mark it. Yeah, penalty taken in the air. It was almost a good take by Raymond Roulet. To be fair, I think if it wasn't for the interruption in the air, I think he would have taken it quite cleanly. Yeah, taking it out there. You can't really complain about that. I don't see why you'd be even trying to. Right, what can they conjure up there? Jonathan Dainty, as usual, the battering ram. Making a few yards. Kerbalo, now Skelton. Oh, good hands. Hands. Raymond Roulet down the angle. Up towards 22. Really good angle being run there by La Rochelle. Look at that back left corner there. Gregory Eldridge. Really starting to mix up the power game with the flair here. Oh, good hands. Oh, hands. Skelton hit hard by James Lowe, but he's still going. He's such a hard blade to bring down. But that's brilliantly turned over by Charlie Inkai. That's brilliant work by him. But now big counter rack coming in from La Rochelle. So I mean the breakdowns it's chaos. It's chaos. It's rough. It's rugged. It's intense. Inkai just hammering it downfield. And Julian once again is gonna have to restart. He's got Roulet, but he sees a bit of space on the left hand side. Looking for F22. He's going to get a favourable bounce. No jabs. Gibson Park is there. And that's not a great kick from Gibson Park. He's found, actually not bad, he's found about 30 meters, but either way, La Rochelle have basically just parked the bus inside Leinster's half and are just going to make them defend. And the question is, can they defend for the last 17 minutes? Have they got it in them? Because at the moment, it's just they're steamrolling at them. Yeah, it's really good intervention about Charlie Guitar. Julian can see searching for that 50-22. Bounce though, ball not doing this any favors, and Gibson Park right up against the touch line. But you can see Julian really trying to gear people up there. They're in this here. They're in this, and they know they're in this here, La Rochelle. Good take on the line once again. Looking for that rolling more. Working hard to try and find a bit of ascendance. There, a bit of a... It's gone down. Ball is available though. Use it, use it, use it, use it. Oh my living, they've given the ball away. Obstruction, that's really, really, really silly. I said use it, and it's Colombia's just come on, and they've just moved to the side, and it's... That's and they're just going to remain disciplined here at La Rochelle. They've got all the chances here, and they're just not using them. Right, Leinster scroll. So 159 tackles being made by Leinster, just 39 made by La Rochelle, by the way. That's how much it's just been an absolute slugfest for Leinster, and they've just been relentless. They're going to have to defend all the way. They started like a house on fire, got themselves 17 points. Now, since then, basically, they've just had to defend. Couple more subs onto the park here, by the way. Joel Sclavi's on. Number 17. Looks like they're actually emptying the bench here. I think that's this perk who's just come back on. Who's just come on. Yeah, it is. Just the 4 replacements so far for Leinster. No Luke McGrath, no Kieran Frawley, no Cian Healy, no Ronan Kelleher just yet. Leaving their big players on here, Leinster. Dan Sheehan, I'm sure, will make about 70 minutes. Meanwhile, we are getting ever closer to that 25,000 subscriber mark. 20 people away. You know what the annoying thing is? I can guarantee that there are 20 people watching that aren't subscribers. I can guarantee you that they're probably about 40. And I reckon that... Yeah, I reckon if we wanted to, we could probably get there like this. But there are people there that will not bless us. They will not be part of the movement. Big scrum that came from La Rochelle. They just need the ball to come in. I reckon they've got a bit of a shove in them. He's got to put it in here. Yucca, he's got to put it in though. He's got to put it in. They've got the shove. I would love to know what Andrew Porter has spent on his tattoos. Like, I mean, there's no more space left for him. That's just about spending an absolute fortune. There's euros, eh? Euros are you earning? Going a long way, apparently. Right, the question is, well, it goes out towards the back. A lot of pressure being put on La Rochelle. The ball's come away, La Rochelle's way. I think they've got a penalty advantage as well. Kurt Barlow's come away with it. I don't know if there's a bit of penalty advantage. Aldridge comes away. Good carry from him. Now Will Skelton once again. And penalty advantage right by the poles here as well. Oh, straight through is Kurt Barlow. He's almost through. He's still going. He's up to the 5-meter line. Pick up and go as well. Oh, that's a big tackle. It's an important tackle. They're going to go back for the penalty. Decision time. Decision time. 30 minutes. Hands beyond the ball is the call on Caden Doris. Decision time. What do they do? Do they A, kick to the corner? B, kick for goals? Those are your only options, really. So do they take the 3 points? Get themselves within 3 with 30 minutes to go? Or with this relentless pressure, do they go for the corner? Personally, I'll go for the corner. I think with the pressure they've had a couple of good rolling mauls. If they can get themselves into that 5-meter line, I would go for the corner and have a go. So I think there's a big conversation happening at the moment. Look, the nice thing is if you go for poles, for example, you don't need a conversion try. They are going to kick for the corner. Just to try what do or a penalty would level things. You can go to extra time. Not the best kick of them, to be honest. They're about 15 meters out, but they've got all the momentum here. Right, Dan Sheehan has left the park. Ronan Keller here replaces him. It's a good replacement to have. La Rochelle have emptied their bench. A lot of and penalty advantage once again. And let's look at the going. They're up by the corner here, La Rochelle. They'll want to kick. They want to come inside though. They'll want to come inside. Try and get an easier kick here. That is dreadful. That is so poor. I mean, they've got massive props, but that was dreadful. I like how La Rochelle literally just decided, you know what, we're just going to put in a massive pack. We're just going to put a huge pack together and see if anybody can stop us. That's our plan. That's literally our philosophy. We're going to go find the biggest freaks of nature forwards, throw them onto the field and see if anybody can stop them. Look, if they get a similar sort of more here, they'll be over. We'll be in the corner though, so it'll be a huge kick. Right, and they've now thrown another forward here. Have La Rochelle really empty the bench. Delane's come on. No, sorry, that's Remy Bordeaux's just come on. Delane's already on. Alton Delane. Skelton, they don't even compete. Oh, he doesn't manage to get down. That could be a penalty advantage as well. It is an advantage. That was really clever. That was so clever from La Rochelle. They just delayed bringing him down a fraction to force that penalty. Now they need to get this ball out because they've got a penalty advantage and they'd love to have a crack. Kerbalo. Yeah, ball is available. Re-roll the dice. What can they do? Pick up and go once again. Josh van der Vliet is trying to hold that ball up. I tell you, you've got advantage. Just go. I would just be throwing this, giving it flat to Jonathan Dante on the angle and saying, what can you do for us? Hold up. Penalty. Yellow card. I think a yellow card could be... Oh, just talking to a yellow card. What's the chat? What is the chat? He did yellow card La Rochelle for not being 10 and being cynical. I think this is just a warning to Gary Ringrose, who is now the captain with Ryan Beard having gone off. So it will just be a warning. That was very intelligent, though, to just delay bringing Skelton down by a fraction, hitting him too early. Penalty for not allowing the ball carrier to get down to the ground. Right, can they eventually get over all the pressure? They once again go to Skelton. He goes himself. Just short. They're in the corner, but they're just short. Advantage as well here. They've got an advantage. Swing to the backline, chaps. You haven't even gone there yet. Just Jonathan Dante is sitting there. That's exactly who I'll be looking at. If I'm Jonathan Dante, I'm lining up Ross Byrne. I'm taking him over the line with me. Oh! Is he over? Is he over? He is over. He is over. La Rochelle has scored. Woo! There we go. Last 10 minutes, and they've finally penetrated the Leinster defense. Drama at the Aviva. And there's going to be a yellow card. Yellow card to Leinster. Try for La Rochelle. A huge conversion incoming. Is it? Ooh. Ooh, what's the grounding? It looks like it's over a boot. Ooh, dear. Are they going to have a look at this? Big decision to come here. Big decision to come here. Ronan Kelly has just walked on, and now he's just walked off. He's been yellow carded. If this goes over, La Rochelle will lead for the first time. They were 17-0 down after 12 minutes. And the kick is so good. Over the middle. La Rochelle 27, Leinster 26. 8 minutes remaining. A 14-man Leinster. Can La Rochelle do it? This is mental. This is absolutely insane. This is one of the best finals I've ever watched. Really good restart there as well. Good carry from Delane. Kerbalo, I think, is going to go the full distance here, by the way. He's been absolutely brilliant. And now Julian's going to hammer this downfield as far as he can. Just go and park Leinster in their own half. Right, what can Keenan cook up? He runs into two baby forwards and he gets the treatment. Andrew Porter. Right, Ross Byrne lifts us high in the air. 3 Leinster players all over Julian. Yeah, needs a lot of support. It does come. Game management all of a sudden for La Rochelle. They've been relentless in the attack. The Leinster defense, it must be given the credit to them. But La Rochelle have just not stopped hammering away at them the entire game. And to be honest, I probably wanted Leicester to win at the beginning of the game, but just to have watched this La Rochelle side rally like they've had to is something special. Ross Byrne inside there to it's Hugo Keenan. Good tackle on him. Can't afford to give away any penalties here either side. Showing it side's a good tackle on it. Oh, they're trying to hold him up. Are they going to be? Is he going to be able to get his knees down? Yeah, they do. Yeah, trying to find a penalty there. Oh, they go down the side. Kalen Doris. Oh, it's high. Penalty advantage. Oh dear. Late drama. Not an easy kick though. 10 meters inside. Ross Byrne, is he going to call for his kicking tee? Does he back himself? They're going to have a look at this. This could be 14 on 14 if this is foul play. It's Jonathan Dainty, so in terms of a player to lose, he's a pretty big one. Right, Ross Byrne's got to back himself. He's got to back himself. Can he slot this to win the game? I mean, this has been absolutely mental. Who would have thought at 17-0 after 12 minutes that it would get down to this? Oh, I think that Dante's in a lot of trouble here. Look, it's at least a yellow card at the end of the day. Doesn't really matter if it's a red. So I'm just waiting to see what colours put up. Yellow card. Doesn't matter. There's less than 10 minutes to go. Jonathan Dante goes. That's such an important player to lose. Right, 14 on 14. Do they have it in them? Does Ross Byrne have it in him? That's the big question. He's not even going to have a go. He's going to go to the corner. Ooh, dear. Oh, dear. No, at least to find a good touch finder. Yeah, they're backing themselves to go all the way. They've done next to no attacking so far this half of Leinster. In fact, this could be the first second line they've had. Not a brilliant kick. Just outside of 22. La Rochelle won't mind that. Both teams will be down to 14 men till the rest of the game. It all comes down to who wants it more, isn't it? Right, Josh Fleer. We've seen this before. We've seen this before. He throws the line out. He does complete it. Trying a tie. This is all about discipline now for La Rochelle. One mistake like that. Inside ball in front of player. Gibson Park, they're right by, and instead of I'm just playing all my rugby right by these poles and saying to La Rochelle, I dare you to make a mistake. I dare you to concede a penalty. And La Rochelle have to be so careful. Yeah, they're going down the right hand side. Ross Byrne goes himself. Ball's available there for Gibson Park going into their 7th phase. Have to be so disciplined here. Ross Byrne trying inside. Bit of space, bit of space, bit of space, bit of space. He's still going, he's still going. They're just short. I'll tell you what, I would have almost tried to bring him over the line and just try and hold it up. It's available there for Gibson Park. Oh dear, I'm seeing a mismatch. I'm seeing Hathaway standing there. And a lot of forwards. They're inches close here. They are they're 2 meters away. Do they have it in them, Leinster? Can La Rochelle defend? They haven't had to make a lot of tackles today. Good tackle. 10 phases so far. Pick up again from Andrew Porter. You sense they need something special if they're going to try and physically hammer Leinster La Rochelle over the line. From the flare, short again. 13 phases. Gibson Park swings it. Ringrose is isolated. He's isolated. The ball's come across. Turnover ball. La Rochelle have turned it over. Have Leinster lost it? Is that it? There's still 3 minutes to go, but that's a huge moment. Big defense. Big defense. Julian in the pocket here. Kerbala taking as much time as possible. Doesn't find touch. James Lowe's going to have a go here. Big tackle on James Lowe. Now the ball's popped. Gone back to Hugo Keenan. Leinster still with the ball here. Another turn. Ball's come loose. Pass to Byrne. To Jenkins. So Macy, Gibson Park, long pass out wide. To Doris. Now Maloney. Van der Vlier. Back on the angle. Hugo Keenan. Good tackle on him. We'll stop over here. I think this is Will Scarlton who's out and not moving. Well, that's big. That's big. All that momentum gone now. A scrum to come. A centre missing for La Rochelle. A hooker missing for Leinster, which means I have to bring him back on Dan Sheehan. Then Sheehan back onto the park. This is absolutely mental. I cannot believe that this game has gone to this point. La Rochelle with less than 2 minutes on the clock, defending for their lives to become back-to-back European champions. The undisputed best team in the world if they do it. Kian Healy onto the park. And all I'm saying is that good luck trying to put... I mean, of all the people trying to put in a... Tell you, it wouldn't almost be worth looking at this, eh? I think Adelato could actually be in trouble here. He's led with his head, and I think his head-on-head contact, and he's hammered George's Henry Cologne. And I think, tell you what, I think I'll be having a look at this. He's come die. I think he's in trouble here. I think this could be 2 yellow cards for Leinster. He's tucked his arm and he's led with his head. I think that's a yellow card. I think that's incredibly dangerous. Look at the way the recoil here from Cologne. I mean, he's out he's out for the count. Doesn't move. Doesn't move. Nah, you've got to take action here, Jaco. Number 18. There's 18 on 18. Adelato is going to go to the bin. At least a yellow or a red. It's not really going to matter. There's 2 minutes left, so it'll be the same punishment, really. 18, and he's out of here. Yeah, red card. Red card's the right decision. It is the right decision. That was a horrible clean out. And they're going to get a penalty as well. That's the main thing. That's going to be a penalty, by the way. Bang. Leinster red card. That could be it, actually, all of a sudden. I didn't even think about the fact that it's going to be a penalty. So that'll be turnover ball as well. Have Leinster bottled this? Red card. Yellow card. Penalty now for La Rochelle. You are going to kick just anywhere really, and they've got what 110 seconds to last. This is absolute. I mean, here's the poll: is this the best comeback of all time? Is it the best rugby comeback of all time? Maybe we should actually do like a show next week of the best comebacks. But I just think, in a final situation, to be 17-0 down after 12 minutes. After 12 minutes. 17-0, 26-10. They were gone. And all of a sudden they've come out in the second half and they've been relentless. Absolutely relentless. They have managed to get Klum off the park. He has been stretched off. Doesn't look good at all. That could be quite a lengthy layoff. And Adelato might have just costed Leinster the Champions Cup. This just needs to go into touch. And then they're going to take all the time in the world to go arrive at the line out. "90 seconds left on the clock. Also, 50 people that need to subscribe to 25,000 subscribers. That's a bit of a sideshow. We won't worry about that. More to the point, 90 seconds left on the clock here. La Rochelle just need to win this ball, you feel? And that would be enough. We go to the back of the line. Brilliant line out. They're going to look for the rolling more here. Josh Bonifleur has found himself in the middle and they conceded another penalty. This has been absolutely epic from La Rochelle. There's no other way of putting it. Right, he's going to get man of the match. How's that for trying to make that call? Gregory Alger, man of the match. Not convinced. Not convinced. They have retained the lineout. 20 seconds to go. They just need to get this ball out now. 10 seconds to go. Yeah, as soon as they get this ball out. They've done it. They've done it. That is absolutely mental. Back-to-back Heineken Cup champions. From 17-0 down to champions. That is absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. Rowan O'Gara, look at the celebrations. Take a bow. One of the best comebacks ever in this sport. And the men in yellow, they can't believe it. Leinster shell-shocked out of the URC. Losing the Champions Cup. They will once again not lift a trophy this season. Absolute disaster for them. That's ridiculous. How's that, people? Goodness me. Well, people, thank you very much. That's been absolutely brilliant to watch. And, yeah, just words, actually. I don't even know have the words to describe. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. What a game. Absolutely phenomenal game. One of the best finals I've watched recently. People, if I'm going to wake up tomorrow and we're not at 25,000 subscribers, I'll be a little bit sad. 14 people need to do the job. Please go smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And I will see you guys all next time.